election by justifying new barriers to voting, such as requiring identity cards to vote. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
If you're one of the many frustrated singles who suffer from online dating fatigue, you might just be in luck. A new dating website launched this week that caters to fed-up men and women who simply want to meet eligible singles with unbroken skin or open sores similar to their own. It's called Last Shot.
If you're one of those people who is just ready to throw your hands up in the air and start a life with someone who has unbroken lesion-free skin, or on the other hand, if you're open to someone who has boils and abscesses similar to your own, Last Shot is perfectly calibrated to your needs.
Boasting a user-friendly interface and affordable dues of $4.99 a month, Last Shot simply asks users to log in, then click yes or no if they have open sores. Within moments, they're connected with hundreds of eligible singles who have comparable skin conditions. Reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. Arcuri hopes to one day introduce an upgraded membership experience, which would allow exasperated singles to filter for specific skin conditions.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
And it is Free Talk Live on Independence Day. We're here live when a bunch of other shows probably aren't. I don't know if we're the only live show on nationally syndicated radio, but I guarantee you we are of a select few throughout the entire broadcast day today.
Oh, yeah.
Because we like doing radio. We like being here, talking to you about the things that you want to discuss, which you can join us here. That's the point here of Free Talk Live. You can join us toll-free at 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've also got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
For this Independence Day edition of Free Talk Live. You wanted last night, Mark, to talk about the Declaration of Independence, to specifically read the entire thing, which is something we've
that long.
never done here on Free Talk Live. And so we didn't do it last night. Tonight's a good night for it. We're going to get into that coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. We'll start out, and also the latest on what's going on with the Bitcoin fees situation, which in my opinion is pretty big news for that universe. But let's talk to Clayton. He's calling us on Skype. Clayton, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark.
Hey, good afternoon,
Hey.
and happy Independence Day, fellas.
Thanks, Clayton. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I wanted to call and talk about Uber and an incident that recently happened in Tijuana, Mexico.
Okay, with you?
No, not with me. No, you guys might know I go there quite a bit. So whenever you cross into Mexico on foot from San Diego, after you clear customs, there's this long walkway, and there are all these cab drivers, hey, amigo, you need a ride, you need a ride. And it's kind of an unspoken rule just to say, no, thank you, walk to the end of the line and go maybe 100, 300 meters away and call an Uber, because Uber's super cheap there. It's like
Really?
$1.
And you're saying the Uber is actually cheaper than all those competing cab drivers?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, those guys, to get from border crossing to Revolution Avenue, which is the main kind of tourist strip, you can negotiate with the cab driver about $5. If you don't negotiate, it's whatever they tell you when you get there. So you always got to negotiate ahead of time.
Okay.
With Uber, maybe $2.
Wow.
Maybe $2. And the cars are much nicer. They have seat belts.
So like you typically so is it like Acapulco, where a bunch of the cabbies are driving like old VW Bugs from 1980 and old Nissan Sentras from the 80s?
Sentras, yeah. Bugs, not so much.
There were bugs all over Acapulco.
I think because of the proximity to San Diego, TJ gets a lot more American used cars. So there's a lot of fix that are yellow cabs.
Interesting.
So anyway, the rule is just tell them no thank you and walk out of sight before you grab your Uber.
Why out of sight?
Yeah, because you'll get a very strong negative reaction, and that's what happened.
Well, okay, yeah. So tell me more.
Yeah, so these guys went to San Diego for a Padres game, come back to TJ, gonna have a good time. Cab drivers, hey amigo, you need a ride? You need a ride? The guy said no. I called an Uber. First mistake. And they started gathering around him, right?
Oh my god!
And then and then he's picking up his Uber in the taxi area. Second mistake. So they crowd around him and they beat this guy. And there's video online, right? It's these cab drivers essentially beating this guy, putting him in the hospital.
Wow.
For using Uber. And the cab drivers, the cabs there, it's a mafia.
Of course.
They throw rocks. TJ recently launched a public transit system. So the cabbies were like busting out windows and cutting tires for like the rapid transit buses. Yeah, it's real. They're really threatened, right? And so they're reacting in a crazy way. Well, traditionally, the yellow cab drivers mafia has had a really, really strong political influence. They have they're major supporters of every mayor.
Right.
Well, they overplayed their hand this time, and now the city council of Tijuana is looking to disband the charters for the cab operators.
Really?
Wow.
Meaning
over this one incident?
Well, no. There have been a lot of they call them rock throwing incidents where they're throwing rocks.
Well, they're attacking the city now, right? So this wasn't the city's doing the bus service, or what did you say it was, bus or
yeah, so there's a public, like a city rapid transit, and there's
transit.
also private shuttle services that have been attacked, and there's been ongoing Uber attacks.
So the city probably wouldn't care if all the cabbies were doing was attacking Uber, but if the cabbies are ganging up against the other gang, which is the city, they'd had this gang, peace for a while where they pay the city gang and the city gang protects them, and now they're attacking the city gang because the city gang is encroaching on their territory.
Right.
And now the city's coming back, right? Because that's what cities know how to do, is to escalate conflict.
They're biting the hand that feeds them because they're not getting fed as much as they want to be fed.
The city is biting the hand that feeds them.
No, the cabbies are.
Okay. Because they're both kind of biting at each other. But yeah, go ahead, Clayton. Interesting.
How they really overplayed their hand here is they attacked a tourist, and there was video of the attack. And so tourism's a major driver for the economy there, right?
Sure.
So if you're attacking tourists, you're attacking taxable revenue.
Yeah, you're attacking everybody in the city of Tijuana, because that's revenue if people don't come. If people feel as though they are in danger in Mexico, which of course there's a lot of propaganda about how dangerous Mexico is, and I don't think that most of it's true, but certainly there's crime in Mexico just like there's crime in the United States. And there are gangs in Mexico who, governments to me are just like gangs. They're gangs that fly flags in front of their offices. And the behavior you're describing isn't particularly different. It's maybe more intense, a little more violent than what we've seen happen in some places in the United States. Elsewhere in the world, there have been some incidences of violence similar to this, like from cab drivers versus the Uber and Lyft drivers, these ride-sharing company drivers. We've seen this before, where windows have been busted out of the Uber cabs and things like that. In fact, even here in New Hampshire, in Portsmouth, the Uber grandma, she reported having she went out, left her cab for a moment for whatever reason, maybe to go into the bathroom somewhere. And when she came back out, there were cabbies nearby, and her back brake light was smashed out. And, it wasn't that way before she went in. So somebody, likely one of the cabbies who've done things like boxed her in while she's like pulled over to the side of the road so she can't leave. And they, jeer at her and make fun of her. And, they're just terrible. They're not as terrible, apparently, as what happened there in Tijuana. But it's, again, difference is only in degrees there.
Well, one of the differences, too, and you see those attacks that you're talking about in New Hampshire, Paris, around the world, usually the local governments will crack down on Uber after an incident like that happens. This is the one I found where the government's cracking down on the actual cab operators.
Now, the cab operators made the mistake of attacking the government rather than attacking the Uber drivers.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
And again, this incident does not look particularly good for the city in general. So, yeah, they seem to have the perfect motivating factors to do something. So you're saying they're looking at revoking charters, and that would mean that they would essentially be deregulating cabs? Is that the idea?
Yeah, basically putting the cab operators out of business, removing their license to operate in TJ.
Wait a minute. So would that mean that there couldn't be cabs, or that they would just not have a license anymore? Are they going to keep the licensing process around and just eliminate these companies' licenses so other companies can be formed and then get licenses, or are they going to eliminate the regulatory burdens entirely?
Yeah, that's a good question. The articles I've read just have stated the city council is looking to remove the cab operators, and so it didn't even actually specify if they were looking to.
Well, the devil's going to be in the details, I think, on this one. We'll see what which way the political winds blow. If you have the ability to update us on this story, Clayton, that would be excellent over time, because we're not going to be able to follow it closely without you.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. I'll tell you, it's got my wife scared to go back. It's crazy. I mean, it's like everywhere. There are unwritten rules that you follow, right? So
right. Hey, thanks for sharing that story tonight. Anything else you want to get out there?
No, that's it. I'm going to go shoot some fireworks, so I'm going to practice some personal responsibility tonight.
Great call. Thanks for the call tonight here on the Independence Day edition of Free Talk Live. That's Clayton. And you can call in, sound just as good as he did. He was on Skype. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. You do need to send a contact request first. It takes just a moment. We'll approve it. And then you can call from that point forward. Again, username lrn.fm on Skype. We've also got our toll-free lines for those of you that want to do it that way. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. You can join us on Independence Day.
So when we brought him home, we didn't realize that Bear, the rescue dog, was actually sick. He had very flaky skin. He was dropping a lot of fur. The vet wanted to do steroid injections, special dog food. Nothing seemed to work. So I've been hearing Dinovite on the radio for years.
Petey stopped eating. All his hair fell out.
Itching, licking, missing fur.
DINOVITE.com. 859-428-1000.
And then it finally sunk in. Oh, you're talking about hair and skin. And all right, I'll try it. Well, it took probably 6 weeks, but after we started using Dinovite, no more flaky skin. He doesn't scratch and itch, and he started to put weight on. It was awesome.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Every rescue dog in America deserves Dinovite for 90 days. I wish that we would have started the Dinovite right away. It would have been so much easier.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Do you ever say, I could care less, when you really mean the opposite? You mean to say, I couldn't care less. It's a common mistake. You are judged by how you speak, especially if you're looking for work, with so many more applicants than openings now. But even if you're not, avoiding common misstatements will help you make the most of the dozens of conversations and transactions that crowd your daily routine. So whatever you say, don't say whatever as a single-word sentence. It's the most annoying expression in the American English language, according to a recent poll. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. But seriously, at the end of the day, you'll want to avoid this scenario, sounding like everyone else. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Welcome to Free Talk Live. You're still here listening, so we're here broadcasting because we know that people are out there. In fact, probably a lot of people traveling about, going to and from families and friends' houses, and still want to listen to live radio, and that's why we're here. It's Ian and Mark. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Well, one of the things that I think should be celebrated here on Independence Day, beyond just the fact that the United States did successfully secede from the UK way back when.
I love it when they call it Happy Treason Day.
Okay, all right. I like Happy Secession Day, but, whatever floats your boat, is the fact that we do still have some good stuff going on here. I mean, there's a lot of critiques that are valid against the U.S. government, no doubt about it. But at the very least, we still have the freedom to generally speak about that government here in the United States. You
have the freedom to complain.
Yeah, and so there are some freedoms that we have that other places in the world don't have, and it is good to be grateful for those sorts of things. But that doesn't mean you have to be complacent. That doesn't mean that you have to accept the status quo as, well, it's the way it is, so can't fight City Hall. No, that's, we need to redouble our efforts towards more independence for the individual, towards independence for the states. I saw Derek J. Freeman, our former co-host, posted a great blog piece today over at freekeen.com. He made about a 6-minute video that's just talking about the independence movement here in New Hampshire, and let's get people here. Let's concentrate our libertarian activism in this one state, which we've seen work with this New Hampshire freedom migration that's been going on here for more than a decade. He's a great blog post. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out over at freekeen.com. And if you're not yet planning on moving to New Hampshire and you're a libertarian, you really need to start thinking about that. You can go to 101reasonsfilm.com to check out 101 Reasons Why Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, why we're already the freest state of all 50, and why we can be even more free as more people who care about freedom and liberty move here and help us get active. So coming up tonight, we're going to talk about the Declaration of Independence. Mark, you've got that. We're going to share it with you. But first, to the phones, to your calls and thoughts. Aaron, listening to WGSO in New Orleans. Aaron, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, happy Independence Day. Go ahead.
Thanks a lot for working. Hey, listen, I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but in New Orleans, we are going through an absolute crime wave.
No.
The summer heat, and it is spurring one of the worst crime waves we've had here in probably 20 years.
Oh no! Why do people want to commit crimes when it's hot out?
You think they'd want to just sit there?
Yeah, get a fan.
I think people are just at their wits' end. But a lot of this is crime that now what we're seeing now is crime in the tourist area, in the French Quarter area, and these are crimes that are not being done with guns. They're groups of people that are basically roaming around, and they're beating tourists.
They're not cabbies, are they?
No. But they're ganging up, and groups of 3s and 4s and so on, and they're beating up tourists to the point where they're being put into the hospital.
Now, are these robberies? Is that what's going on, or they just want to beat people up?
Well, most of them, things are being stolen, like phones and wallets and things. Some of them, a couple of them, nothing was taken. But for the most part, things are being taken. But the problem that we're having here is that, okay, we have a totally failing police force. The police force is understaffed, and then the problem with the existing force that we do have is that it's a historically corrupt force to the point where a few years back the federal government had to step in. So now you have people who do not trust the police, but they really don't have any other alternatives. And sometimes when you call 911 here in the city, you're waiting, some cases 30, 45, some cases one hour for somebody to show up. Wow. And then ordinary people, if we want to organize and we want to look out for our neighbors, if we want to do something in a meaningful way, you know, there's these regulations that, well, you have to become a licensed guard service. You have to.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What about like a neighborhood watch where you know,
neighborhood watch is fine.
Okay.
Neighborhood watch is fine, but you have to call the police if you want to be out. If you want to, let's say, for example, if you want to escort, let's say you have a somebody getting off work and you want to have because I tried to do this a few years ago to say, okay, well, we have volunteers and somebody will walk you from point A to point B, and the person is.
Like the Guardian Angels used to be in New York City.
Exactly.
They'd have those guys in those maroon berets and probably women too.
Exactly. But if you want to do that here, they're pulling out the regulation book and they're saying, listen, you got to be a licensed guard service. You need to have an insurance policy. You have to have an approved uniform. All of this. And, you know, in the meantime, the criminal element, they don't follow any of those.
No. Right. Wait, do they have don't they have a uniform and a license?
No, they don't have anything.
Well, I got a couple suggestions. As somebody who thankfully doesn't have to deal with this, but we've certainly, had some good tools come across our desk over the years. Cell 411, of course, is number one recommendation.
It's an app.
Yeah, you go to getcell411.com, and this is basically a decentralized emergency response app, where whether it's neighbors, family members, friends, a neighborhood watch group, or whatever, you can have different cells in Cell 411 of people that you know and that you want to be connected with. That if something is going wrong, the individual who has Cell 411 can send out an alert about it. So maybe there's some criminal activity, or maybe there's a house on fire, or whatever. There's different. Maybe the police are screwing with somebody. There's different alerts that can be sent from the app, and at the same time, it also offers the ability to stream live video of whatever it is that's going on. So not only do the people who are connected to the person sending the alert get a location-based alert as far as where your friend is and what's happening to them, they also, again, have the option to stream video, so you can actually watch what's happening, even if you can't make it there to help, or if you can, it might be of some assistance to know what's going on before you get there. It's an incredible tool. It's available for, I think, different phone operating systems, and it's free to download. So that's like the number one group decentralized communication, like emergency response app that we love here on Free Talk Live.
And I'd also sort of caution you that it sounds like you're asking permission, and the government's job is to say no.
Right.
Like that's what they do. They say no. And then at some point or another, they may change their mind. But if you just keep on asking them, they're just going to keep on saying no. I think you're better off doing whatever it is that you plan to do, and then having a phone camera ready to to video record thugs, to video record the police, whomever it is that's giving you trouble for walking innocent people from one location to another, that's going to show them for who they are, and that's probably the first line of defense. The police are going to be very, very reticent to be put in a situation where they're being video recorded for just taking, hassling people that are walking, being kind and walking people, little old ladies across the street.
Yeah, that would make for some interesting footage for sure. I agree with that recommendation. I want to get your thoughts or response. If you want, Aaron, you're welcome to hang on. Our toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, because I've also got another suggestion as well, 855-450-3733. You want to weigh in your ideas on how folks can respond to a crime wave hitting New Orleans. You can join us here. This is Free Talk Live, New Year's Independence Day.
Is that Ellen painting her garage?
Yesterday she was trimming her hedges.
What's her secret?
I heard she was eating this new super berry called the aronia berry.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where can we get them?
Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait. I've got lots of projects I need to get done.
Yes, you do.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live.
I look up on internet and tried to research some stuff that everybody's been talking about. And, you know,
Everybody.
It's all true.
What?
It's true.
What is?
Everything that's going on in this country.
The heck are you talking
Everything that you're talking about, I'm talking about 9/11.
We don't talk about that.
Everything.
Yeah, you're being incredibly vague.
I know what's going on. I mean, people get in an airplane and they talk about, well, they were talking on this plane and they were doing this from that to this and that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Didn't work back then.
What is this
So
and that? You need to be a lot less vague, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Everything, Dale. Everything is
going
true.
on. Everything is true. Okay, that's going on in this country.
Yes, what I'm trying to tell. Everything is true, but they will not listen.
Everything.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated, so send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. We're doing the Independence Day edition of the show, which means we're here. We're here live, as we are pretty much 365 days a year.
That's what we do.
Yep. It's Ian and Mark here with you, and our toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Mark, tell me about Simbi.com.
Simbi is an online marketplace where you don't need money. So you can get services and some goods and services from people, mostly services, and many of the services are, offbeat, a little odd. Many of them are very, very useful stuff. Sort of website development. Just saw one guy, website development, accounting, advice on certain topics, consultations, that kind of thing. And it's also, weird stuff, where to take your next hike, things like that. So check them out. I think that I've found them very useful for voiceover work. SIMBI. That's in Symbi as in symbiotic. SIMBI, but symbiotic has the word has a Y in it. Nonetheless, you can find hundreds of thousands of people there that are acting within the symbiotic economy. You won't believe the diversity of services that they have at Symbi.com. You can go get an account right now. They'll give you some currency just to start out. You'll be able to buy something before you even sell something. SIMBI.com.
All right, toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We go back to Aaron. He's in New Orleans. He was explaining to us that there's been a crime wave along with a heat wave down in New Orleans this summer, and was talking about some of the frustrations that people have had in trying to organize to oppose the crime wave. And any level of organization beyond just a neighborhood watch apparently requires all kinds of government hoops to be jumped through.
Y'all papers?
And, Aaron, we had a couple suggestions. One of them was Cell 411 at getcell411.com for people with smartphones. It's a great way to network people together and send emergency alerts in a decentralized manner. And then there's also, Mark, as you pointed out here, don't ask for permission if you can avoid it. If you can just go and do something, and then, if the cops mess with you, get that on video. Obviously, there's risk involved in that, right? Like, if they do come at you, then there might be criminal charges, so you do have to be willing to take a risk. But I wanted to get Aaron's response to those suggestions.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it's been my experience that the New Orleans police would probably not come up and, get it in your face if they think that the media, may eventually get that story, or, if this story may be covered by the media about a group of people that are trying to organize. What I think they may simply do is simply do a roundabout and seek an arrest warrant and accuse you of running an unlicensed guard service, or maybe something even more serious than that. And then all of a sudden you get a knock at your door. Next time you get pulled over, hey, we've got this arrest warrant for you,
That's true.
So,
that's true. I mean, the police are definitely an occupying force. They are a gang, and they will behave as a gang will behave in a lot of cases, especially when that gang is threatened by a more effective gang, or not gang, but group of people in this case, peaceful people, hopefully. But I wanted to also suggest the Threat Management Center as perhaps a model to look towards. Are you familiar with them?
No.
So look them up when you get a moment. I believe his name is Dale Brown, who is the operator of Threat Management Center. It's a Detroit-based sort of protection service that is operating in competition with the police. It's providing people with not only 24-hour guards or occasional neighborhood patrols, or just training on how to defend yourself. They provide different levels of service to different members of the community and businesses who are hiring them. And there's been some good documentary work done where Pete Eyre and Garrett Ian from copblock.org actually traveled there, and they interviewed, again, Threat Management Center's boss man, Dale Brown. Very interesting model that he's doing. Has been very successful there because he is actually helping people protect themselves, while it's a very kind of similar situation. While the Detroit police in a lot of neighborhoods, they won't even show up. They close their offices at nighttime,
right?
So you can't even go in 24 hours a day.
It's dangerous out there at night.
So I would look into Threat Management Center and see, what kind of innovations they've come up with, what can be duplicated, and maybe reach out to them.
Right. Okay. No, I'll certainly do that. Unfortunately, like in this city, and I'm sure in a lot of other cities, is that crime has become a big business here. And what happens is that the NOPD budget is roughly $90 million per year.
How much? 19 million?
No, 90
million. Okay.
Yeah, per year.
That's big.
And that is still with a wait time in some cases of 30, 45
right.
minutes to 1 hour. And it kind of a self-fueling thing where that if the crime's bad, then then the police can ask for a higher budget.
Sure.
Where if the crime's lower, then they probably couldn't.
Because only government
that's how government works.
can fail its way to bigger budgets. And I mean,
exactly.
Find another organization that can fail to do its job year after year and just continue to get more and more money. It is fascinating, and it is the thing that will lead you to the realization that what we're dealing with here is a monopoly, and it functions like a monopoly. And until you realize that the government is essentially it's a cartelized monopoly, but whatever, a cartelized monopoly, then you'll never really understand why it works the way it works. But once you realize that everybody has to pay for this terrible service,
right, whether they like it or not,
and that this terrible service actually feeds on bad service, right? Like the police, they're going to get more money if they do a worse job. And, well, that's not the beat officers' issue, although there's plenty of messed up beat officers out there.
Right.
But that's the brass's issue for bad allocation and all that other stuff of manpower and that sort of thing.
Well, Mark, but if only they could double their budget, then they would be able to be better police and respond.
They doubled their budget, you'd have the same problem. the union would kick in and they'd say, "Oh my God, we have to have 5 officers." They'd actually be sitting in the backs of the cars,
not to mention,
responding together in little groups.
Don't forget that when the cops actually do respond, and again, this isn't in all cases, but certainly there have been plenty of them where you can point to this. There's this idea of officer safety, which has become paramount in a lot of police departments. So, gone are the days of the heroic officer that throws himself in front of a flying bullet that is coming at an innocent person.
Well,
now
it's gone, but
now it's they hide for a while, and then once they feel like it's safe, they might go in and stop some murderer from shooting up a restaurant or something like that. So even though you're paying them a bunch, even though there's a bunch of them running around, they're not necessarily doing. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't officers who've done brave things, but man, you can look at different examples. Like I think Columbine was one of the first ones.
They're not. So they're encouraged not to do brave things, I think, is what what we're talking about here, and that's the same on the fire department. They don't want us to do brave things. In the case of the fire department, they're going to have to pay a lot more money if I get injured doing something dumb than they will if I don't go in and save the puppy or something, right? Like the puppy dies, it costs the town nothing. Yep. If I die, on the other hand, it costs the town a great deal. However, when you're dealing with situations like the gentleman who was just shot, Philando Castile, that was $3 million that cost the city of Minneapolis. So the more situations they have like that, the more people that bring lawsuits against them, then they'll begin to change their tune.
Aaron, any other thoughts you want to share tonight?
Well, just one last
Sure.
thing. The New Orleans police years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, they used to have a police officer who was the spokesperson, right? And, they would change it up every now and again. But then what happened was, once they got a budget increase, they hired a gentleman that used to work for the mayor, and now he's the spokesperson, and he gets paid over $100,000 a year.
Jeez.
So even if they do have a higher budget, they just find to waste it.
Oh yeah, because they have no incentive, they have no real competition, and they will essentially outlaw the competition if they can get away with it. It's amazing that Threat Management Center hasn't been, beaten and thrown from a truck up in Detroit. Hey, thanks for the call tonight, Aaron. Appreciate it. If you want to share your thoughts, you're welcome to join us here on the Independence Day edition of Free Talk Live at 855-450-FREE.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey,
who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this hospital.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait
now.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and it is the Independence Day edition of Free Talk Live, where you can, as always, take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
855-450-3733, or Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. Still to come, Mark wants to read the Independence Declaration of Independence. We'll get into that coming up here in moments. But continuing now with more of your phone calls and thoughts. Do want to also let you know about Bitcoin.com. If we get a chance, we'll talk about what's going on with the Bitcoin fees. We'll give you an update on that coming up. But if you want to get the latest on what's happening with the Bitcoin universe, you can go to news.bitcoin.com to find out. Also, they've got games over at bitcoin.com. You can play with your Bitcoin. You can also get interactive with other Bitcoin users on their Bitcoin forum. If you go to forum.bitcoin.com. And if you're brand new to Bitcoin, bitcoin.com is the go-to place to learn the basics about Bitcoin.
We're also going to be telling you shortly about how to start mining over at bitcoin.com. So they've got, you can go to pool.bitcoin.com to check out their mining pool.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. I actually got into that a couple weeks ago, Mark. You can go to
Same here.
bitcoin.com. As we go to your calls and thoughts, let's talk to Genesis, calling from Bullhead City, Arizona, listening to K-Talks. Hello, Genesis.
Hello, Mark, and your other guest.
Ian.
The thing I wanted to say is that we need to add another lantern to our montage. You know, when we were first founding the country, we had a warning system when we were going to get attacked by the British. They were going to light a lantern one lantern if we were going to be attacked by land, two lanterns if we were going to be attacked by sea. Well,
sort of like an old version of Cell 411.
Yeah, well, we need to add a third one if we're going to be attacked from the enemy within our government, which is going on.
Yeah,
I would agree.
So everybody needs to take three candles, 3 tiki torches, whatever, put them in a triangle, and light them up tonight.
Symbolic. Okay.
Symbolic.
Well, that's
so we
good.
Stand together as one.
Yeah, that's good and everything. But
I like triangles.
We're probably not, the American people probably aren't going to be standing together as one because they disagree on a whole bunch of stuff, which is why I think what we need to see happen is secession, where we can have different states trying different things. So, the socialists, the commies can move out to California and they can have, their little socialist experiment there. And the libertarians can move up to New Hampshire, and we can have freedom here. And then all the other different states can, try different stuff and attract, have the people move to those places that are most like those who are already there. I think that is a good plan. What about you?
Yeah, that is a good plan. I'm a libertarian, but I don't really understand these liberals, because if they take and they're beating up people that are working and everything, have jobs, they're on vacation like down in New Orleans. Where do they think their money comes from? It comes from those hard-working people paying taxes. These people are just leeching off the government with their food stamps, their rental assistance, living in Section 8
Well, it's not
housing.
necessarily true that those people are liberals. I mean, there's all kinds of people who are leeches.
There's just gimmies. A lot of people.
I mean, what about what JFK said? That's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Come on, we need to turn this country. We need to get back to where
I don't want to do anything for the country. I mean, I'm more interested in helping my neighbors and helping people kind of get what they want and have a good life. I'm not so interested in the idea of the country. I mean, if it depends on how you describe the country. I mean, is the country the government? Is the country the land? Is the country
the country
people?
Is the people.
Okay.
It's the people.
I can tell you that the politicians don't mean that when they say the country. They mean themselves. They mean
and the
government bureaucrats, and when the teachers, are teaching the kids to put their hands over their heart and look at the piece of fabric and say the little saying, what do the teachers think? Do they think that the country is the people who work for the government, like them? Mm-hmm. Or do they think it's just all of us? We're all the country together. And I get really sort of confused on this because
it's
I know
intentionally confusing.
If tyranny comes to America, it's going to come draped in a flag.
Who said that?
Shoot.
There's somebody who said that. You're quoting somebody who deserves some credit for that one.
Yep.
Genesis.
That person's dead.
Thanks for the call.
I want to wish everybody a happy and safe Independence Day.
Very good, sir. Thank you. I appreciate hearing from you tonight on Independence Day and taking the time out to call in and share your thoughts, which you can do if you want to join us
Upton
here.
Sinclair.
Okay. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Well, he was right about that.
Right. When fascism comes to America, it will come wrapped in the flag and carrying a cross. Is what the terminology is there.
Indeed. And we got time for you if you want to join us.
People don't even know what fascism means anymore.
What does it mean?
I don't know. Well, I don't know that that it was ever really well laid down. But Benito Mussolini claimed that it was basically a marriage between corporations and the government. And if we don't have that now, I don't know what the hell we have.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's kind of a mix, right? There's a mix between fascism and socialism. You've definitely got the corporate state. You've got, the state backing corporations.
The wealthy certainly buy the lobbyists, who then buy the politicians, who then vote on the laws that then everybody has to abide by.
But at the same time, the wealthy are also being taxed pretty heavily in order to spend on socialist wealth redistribution programs. So it's a mix of both, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think the wealthy do get a short end of the stick as far as taxation goes, but through their corporations, they're able to control the government. And the government, of course, issues those corporate documents.
Only partially, because you would think that if the wealthy didn't want to get taxed as much, that they would control the government to not tax them.
Yeah, well, it's not like the bridges aren't falling down, okay? I mean, there's a lot of bridges that really need repairing around here, but you can believe we have the best bombs, right? Like the people who work in the military-industrial complex.
Well, they've got a better connection.
The
military-industrial complex has better connections to the government than does, Joe's construction yard.
Right. The wealthy that aren't well connected, they're just leaving the country, and they're not getting taxed at all. They're just giving up their citizenship and living in places like Cayman Islands and, all around because they've got things like jets and they can get around as fast as they want. They can live on yachts. They don't need to worry about it.
Let's go to Greg. He's in New York. Greg, listening online. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark.
Hey, all. Happy Mother's Day.
Thanks, Greg. Go ahead.
I wanted to just mention I'm going to probably call into the show of this guy, Stefan Molyneux, at some point, but I have no idea how to actually get on a show. You guys are much better at taking people's calls.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what our shtick is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Chris Cantwell said that he has tried to get on the Stefan Molyneux show, and that because they're both kind of gone in the same direction of this alt-right, racist, as I understand it. Again, this is what I've heard about Molyneux. I haven't actually listened to his show.
It's a pretty powerful charge to be laying out there.
I've heard he's doing the race realism thing, Mark, which is
racism,
which is basically a racist thing. It's a cover word for racism. Because that's where Chris Cantwell started, was with race realism, and then now he's just an out-and-out, open, avowed racist.
That's pretty much what he says, yeah.
Cantwell told me the other day that he tried to get in touch with Molyneux, even gave him a $100 donation, and he won't even talk to him. Not even off the air. Not even off the air won't even talk to him. So anyway,
I don't know about Chris Cantwell.
Yeah, I have no idea how you can get on that show. Apparently, money doesn't buy you on it as a fanatical supporter. Which is what Chris is.
I mean, Chris Cantwell was on your show for a while.
He is not now, though. We had to kick him off.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah. But I'm saying I actually remember he wrote a whole article about me calling in one time. And he gave it a pretty good treatment. And then I tried to respond, but he wouldn't publish my response.
Well, Cantwell will let you call into his show. Cantwell has an open phone show called Radical Agenda that he does on the internet because no radio station in their right mind would pick it up. But as far as Molyneux is concerned, I suspect he's got a lot greater control over who has access to be able to talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard his speech a lot, and I commend him for being a hardcore. I didn't know about his racist thing.
I don't know if that's. Again, that's hearsay. I want to make it clear that's what I've heard about him. Generally, what happens with Chris is he sort of follows Molyneux's lead to some extent, and so I think that's probably what has happened here. We do know that Molyneux went total Trump in the last election. Like he was singing. I think was it God Bless America?
It was the national anthem.
Some anthem. He started singing some anthem, and this is the guy who
Canadian anarchist,
right? Singing the U.S. government's anthem.
Yeah.
This is the guy who we've had on this show in the past, who has been in times previous was a voluntarist, was somebody who was a libertarian, a very principled one, and he's obviously lost his way.
Oh, I didn't know that because all the videos I see of him is him talking about anarcho-capitalism.
Oh, those are old videos. Those are old videos. You should watch some of his newer ones, like circa 2016 Trump campaign.
Yeah, Ian, he's more voluntarist than you were voluntarist because he didn't vote. He was against voting and did not vote.
And now he's for it.
And voluntarism was at its inception about not voting.
Well, let me
go ahead and read the Wikipedia article.
You guys then that I would have posed to him.
Okay.
Let me pose a question to you guys.
Yeah.
From a point of view of just, as he does, philosophy and not initiating aggression and harming other people, don't want to harm other people, would you agree that people can only eat so much food? Like, if a person has tons
I'm not sure where you're going with this, but hang on. We'll give you a chance to flesh it out here in moments. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. I don't know if Stefan Molyneux a voluntarist? I'm not sure about that now.
Bitcoin.com is the most unique online destination in the Bitcoin universe. Buying Bitcoin? Do it here. Want to speak your mind to other Bitcoin users? Our forum is always open and censorship-free at forum.bitcoin.com. There's no bigger Bitcoin believers than the Bitcoin.com team. That's why this site is a one-stop shop for everything you need to get into Bitcoin life. You can also play games at games.bitcoin.com. Learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic at Dinovite.
This year, whenever you order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog, we'll send you a free sample of one of the other doggy things we make.
Like Liquid Chops, Super Mega Fish Oil, or Doggo Suds Shampoo.
What's on your dog's wish list?
We'll offer a different freebie each week at Dinovite.com.
Don't you just love the sound of healthy, happy dogs?
Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, July 4th, 2017. Silver's trading at $16.10 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,225 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,616. Antiwar.com reports Pentagon officials confirmed on Monday that they carried out an airstrike on Sunday morning inside the country of Somalia and that they were trying to target the al-Shabaab insurgency, saying they were after specific militant targets. What they actually hit, however, is not clear at all, with no words yet out of Somalia on the results of the strike, and the Pentagon insisting that they were still assessing the results and holding out the idea they might provide information in the future as appropriate. In practice, however, the Pentagon has recently been very tight-lipped about the results of airstrikes, especially those that did not go according to plan, meaning that al-Shabaab was targeted. It may very well be the last we ever hear about this incident. The Trump administration has given the Pentagon increased autonomy to carry out operations in several places around the world, including Somalia, and this is the second such strike in a little over a month. The previous strike was said to kill 8 militants. As far as this strike, it's anyone's guess. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports the Russian government said Monday it is losing patience with U.S. officials over the property confiscated in the closure of Kremlin diplomatic compounds in the last few months. Former President Barack Obama imposed sanctions against Russian diplomats in December as punishment for Moscow's reputed interference in the presidential election. As a result, Russian officials were not allowed access to their property. On Monday, a representative of President Vladimir Putin said the Kremlin is running out of patience. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov said, "As a rule, we have spoken about the principle of reciprocity. As for Russia's patience on this matter, it is running out. That has also been mentioned at various levels." Russian officials were refused access to their buildings starting December 30th. The U.S. sanctions affected the Russian embassies in Washington, D.C., the Consulate General in San Francisco, and compounds in New York and Maryland. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Maryland, Delaware, and Louisiana on Monday joined a growing number of U.S. states that have refused to hand over voter data to a commission established by President Donald Trump to investigate possible voter fraud. More than 20 states, including Virginia, Kentucky, California, New York, and Massachusetts, have declined to provide some or all of the information on the panel requested, saying it was unnecessary and violated privacy. Trump created the Presidential Advisory Commission on Election Integrity in May after making unsubstantiated claims that millions of people voted illegally for his main rival, Hillary Clinton, in last November's election. Calling the request repugnant, Maryland Attorney General Brian Frosch said in a statement that his office had advised the State Board of Elections that the commission's request was illegal. Frosch said the request appears designed only to intimidate voters and to indulge President Trump's fantasy that he won the popular vote. The commission sent a letter to the 50 states asking them to turn over voter information, including names, the last 4 digits of Social Security numbers, addresses, birth dates, political affiliations, felony convictions, and voting history. Louisiana Secretary of State Tom Shedler said the Presidential Commission could purchase the limited information legally available to candidates running for office. He said in a statement, "You're not going to play politics with Louisiana's voter data." Delaware Election Commissioner Elaine Manlove said in an interview that her office would not comply since the information was confidential. Manlove said she was working with the Attorney General's office to see if the request could be denied completely. Trump has blasted the states who have refused to turn over the data and posted a tweet on Saturday asking, "What are they trying to hide?" Civil rights activists said the commission will encourage voter suppression by justifying new barriers to voting, such as requiring identity cards to vote. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after having sexual intercourse with a prostitute earlier this afternoon, local man Jacob Reynolds told reporters that he never expected the experience would bring him to new heights of emotional and spiritual fulfillment.
I was convinced that having sex with a complete stranger behind my wife's back would leave me feeling drained and empty on the inside, but my self-esteem is through the roof.
Reynolds, who said he paid $150 for a 30-minute block of time, said that his moderate expectations for the encounter were instantly surpassed by what turned out to be a deeply personal sexual communion that transported him to a new plane of emotional intimacy.
I've never felt a stronger sense of spiritual connection. When our bodies met, there was an immediate sense of familiarity and comfort that just washed over me. I think it was the most meaningful experience of my life.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program on this Independence Day edition of Free Talk Live. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We had Greg on the line from New York, and he was going to work up to some question he wanted to ask, but he dropped off the line. So maybe we'll get him back here. If there's a technical difficulty and you're on our phones and you drop off for some reason, bad cell or whatever, you always are welcome to call back. Generally, we have a 1 call per night rule, but that's only when the call was intended to be over. In this case, we did not intend for that to happen. So Greg is certainly welcome back at 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. So let's get into it, Mark. You wanted to share the Declaration of Independence, which is a first for Free Talk Live. I think we might have at some point had a couple excerpts on the air over the decade plus, decade and a half that we've been on the air. But I don't think we've ever read the whole thing.
I think it's a good thing for Independence Day because that's the whole point. It's a great rhetorical document, and there's some things to discuss. So let's get right into it.
All right.
When in the course of, I think that there's it's great stuff, and there's some hypocrisy contained within. So,
of course, these weren't perfect men.
No, by no stretch. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. Now, this is interesting because this hadn't been done before. He's like, sometimes these things happen. Sometimes, groups of people have to go their separate ways. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it had never happened before, and I think it's kind of an interesting way.
There was never a secession before this in the world? I don't believe that.
Like, you have to understand sort of Europe was insular in that way, and, but not in this way. Certainly not.
All right.
It was a singular event in this way, especially for this time period.
All right.
So anyway, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. So, hey, everybody deserves a little closure. We're happy to share.
Here are the reasons why.
Yeah. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And
ironic statement given as our caller Hung Like Jesus last night pointed out that at the very time this was written, all men were not being treated.
Thomas Jefferson actually owned men.
Yeah, all men were not being treated equally.
Yeah. So
nice idea, though.
Yeah, I love the statement. Were created equal. They were endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And also, apparently, they didn't include women in that all men are created equal either.
Yeah, I don't think that they did. But I mean,
big oversight.
Language allows that to be the case, and I think men just sounds better. Maybe it's because I'm used to.
How many women signed this document?
0.
Okay.
Yeah. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. I believe that
nice
statement
idea again.
completely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, there's no evidence that there's any truth to it because you can try to withdraw your consent and they refuse to allow you to withdraw it. So it's not based on consent at all.
It says it says the governments are instituted among men. I believe the governments are certainly instituted among men. They may be state-oriented governments. They may be voluntary forms of government, of which there are myriad out there. It says deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So only their powers that are just are derived from the consent of the governed.
The rest of them are derived from pointing a gun.
Right. The rest of those powers come from the barrel of a gun,
which these days is like almost all of their powers. But
sure. So if there's a homeowners agreement, everybody signs it. It's a just power that is derived from among men. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, so whenever a government becomes destructive of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and the consent of the governed, amongst the consent of the governed, that it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it.
So that happened a long time ago, right? When the government became, as they're describing there, oppressive.
Like a 3% tax on tea. The intolerable acts. If you look at the intolerable acts and you put them all together, they are nothing compared to what Washington, D.C. is putting on, let alone what local and state governments are.
So what they're saying
the Revolutionary War appears to have been fought for was to do away with leaders 3,000 miles away so that we may have leaders 500 miles away.
Right. And so what the Declaration's writers are saying here is that the United States is well overdue for another Declaration of Independence.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting that New England is closer to London than Washington, D.C. is to Honolulu. So, if the idea is that you should be ruled by somebody close to you, then Hawaii and Alaska should be looking for their freedom right now. And they both have pretty healthy secession movements going on. And to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizations, its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And, accordingly, all experience hath shewn that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed.
So they didn't consider the 1% tax or whatever, the 3% or whatever it was, to be a light cause. That was a big deal. That was a big oppression to them.
It had been a great deal of time coming forth. There had been rebellion after rebellion inside the area that we now know as the United States up to that point. What I think is interesting is this other statement that essentially says that people will suffer evils. They're disposed to suffering evils for a long time rather than sort of rising up and doing what's right. So anyway, but when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty. Now, I don't know where their duty is created. exactly duty to whom?
Duty to mankind.
Yep.
Is the idea.
To throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies. We've patiently suffered, which as I pointed out, is suffering that it pales in comparison to, if you call it suffering, pales in comparison to the suffering that goes on currently under the government that was instituted by these same men.
Right.
And like Thomas Jefferson believed that every generation should have its own revolution. And he hoped that revolution wouldn't necessarily be violent. But I think that is a sort of an accurate statement. Exactly how can people 200 years ago claim to rule us? And that's essentially what is going on with a document as old as the Constitution.
Right.
Now, the Declaration of Independence is a rhetorical document. It holds no power from a governance standpoint.
No document should hold power. It's just a piece of paper. But what you're saying is that the Constitution created the government, and they believe that it's a powerful document. To me, it's just a piece of paper.
Well, a piece of paper is like a contract. If people sign contracts.
But those people are dead.
Right, I understand. It's a piece of paper.
They can't bind somebody else to a contract that's not alive.
But not every piece of paper is a piece of paper to you? Is that what you're saying?
They're all just pieces of paper.
But a contract is of no value?
Only if you have a meeting of the minds. And then if you have a meeting of the minds in consideration, there's a few things that you need to have in order for a contract to exist. And the Constitution did not have those things.
No, the Constitution did not have those things. It is not the Constitution is not a contract. Now, it was ratified by states via vote, but one would ask at that point, how exactly did the voters get the right to choose governance for the people who voted against it?
Indeed. That would be just pure on coercive force.
Right. They said that enough of us are willing to go for this that you will go for it too.
Or else.
And by the way, Rhode Island got a blockade over this. They said they weren't going to sign, and the United States government sent out a blockade and blockaded them.
The toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We'll continue with more of the Declaration of Independence, and your thoughts are welcome as well. It's Free Talk Live.
For P150, P150GA, P150NY, P150OK, P150TN, C250A, C250E, C250Q. Not available in all states. If New York or Colorado, call for a similar offer.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company, 1-800-972-1059. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away. So you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. Call now for a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-972-1059. That's 1-800-972-1059. 1-800-972-1059.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. Independence Day edition. We're live. We're here, and you can take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We do have Skype as well, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Also, do want to let you know about Dash. It is digital cash, and it's a digital money platform that's designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. The fees are low, way lower than Bitcoin. Even though Bitcoin fees have come down, Dash is still way lower than the Bitcoin fees. And transactions with Dash are faster than Bitcoin, and they can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. Join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. You can find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Just go to dash.org and you can find out why. As we continue here, Mark, you were sharing with us the Declaration of Independence, something we've never read to completion here on Free Talk Live, and that is the intention thus far. So have they gotten into the list of the reasons?
Not quite yet.
Not quite. There's still all the preface to that. Okay.
Right. So he's talking about despotism and how it's the duty to throw off such a government that is despotic and to provide new guards for their future safety. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Britain is a history repleted injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. So he claims, this is a claim, right? These states, they're claiming that these are organizational bodies themselves.
Separate.
Yeah, these aren't colonies, these states.
Mm-hmm.
To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. So now's the list. He has refused.
The king?
Yes, he the king. His assent to laws the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. So basically, we're not allowed to make our own laws. We have to wait for
he has
Parliament
to approve.
and him to approve, right?
And he's not doing that.
Yeah, right. But according to this, yes. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. So, like even when...
So even if they put something on his table...
Right, it's just not happening.
He's not doing it.
He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. So he's like, no, well, you can have what you want, but got to make sure that you say that you never want to have representation in Parliament, which... obviously, kind of a bad choice. They probably should have thought twice about that particular aspect. They could have made a government, like all of them are, so ponderously difficult to deal with that, people are just on the little treadmill of trying to get things done in Parliament.
So what you're saying is that they made the king made the mistake of not giving them a seat at the table.
Right.
Because had he given them a seat at the governance table, they would have been much easier to control.
Yep.
They would have thought, oh, right, we can influence the government. And then, they'd do what all the people in America are trying to do now, which is change the federal government. We hear all of these cockamamie, harebrained ideas, which, I think are coming from a good place, but impossible to put into play about how to change the system, how to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic. Spend all this money and we'll put in a flat tax or, whatever. And then the idea that that's going to reduce or eliminate the income tax is the fanciful part of it, right? Even if you could put together the flat tax. So there's all these fanciful ideas about how to change the system to work better. Oh, we need to have term limits, or we need to have this or that. That, of course, will never go through because the status quo is so powerful and so established and so immovable that, even just adding Puerto Rico comes in or Guam or whatever, they all of a sudden become states. It's not like they get any significant level of influence. So that's what you're saying, is if they'd been let in to sit at the table, we would probably still be part of the United Kingdom today. Right?
I would agree.
Yeah.
Or we would be like Canada would be my guess. The United Kingdom spun people off.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't worth dealing with.
But they're still part of the UK. They're still part of, the crown.
They're
whatever.
under the crown, but it's vague. She's the head of state, but she doesn't really do much. I would say
maybe that's just her choice.
I have
what if she wanted to do something?
A little bit of evidence for you. So you're familiar with downsizedc.org?
Yeah.
This is an organization that we've talked about many times on the air.
We've had Jim Babka on countless times.
Countless times we've had him on. And, well, it's not countless, but more times than we can count.
I would have a tough time figuring it out.
Yeah. Probably less than a dozen, but many times.
I would say more than a dozen.
You think so? Okay.
Earlier on, we had him on a lot.
All right. So we had they have an idea. It's called Read the Bills Act. The Read the Bills Act.
Yep, and it's never gone anywhere.
All they suggest.
Great idea.
This is an idea simply to have the legislators read the bills that they propose out loud. They would be read out loud before all of the legislators there, and that they could only vote if they've sat through a reading of the bill. Right?
Which would be impossible for some of those things.
Well, some of those things are very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But
that's the idea.
The notion that these people vote on things that they haven't read,
they do that all the time.
They do it all the time, is abhorrent to the vast majority of people. But this government is so unresponsive that it won't even do the most basic and most reasonable things in order to make itself a better governing body. They don't have any desire to do that. They make King George look, well, I guess they're as equally as tyrannical as King George ever possibly could have been to the colonists. And this is the biggest grilling day of the year, because Americans are more interested in grilling pieces of meat than they are in having a better government. 200 and something years ago.
It's a lot easier to grill some meat.
It is. 200 years ago, though, people were willing to fight and die, shoot their government center of mass, commit treason.
Which is not what you're advocating here.
I'm not. I'm just simply saying that this document that was written and ratified on this day, or I think 2 days later, around
this time.
Yeah, around this time that we're celebrating, that the people that are celebrating it really know nothing of what they're celebrating and don't have, they don't have the cojones to carry the jock straps of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. So have you ever thought of a government that maybe sends you from this window to that window? You're going to have to write the Bureau of Statistics and Labor.
But they're saying the runaround was being given to the legislators.
Yeah.
He was making it difficult for them to even come and meet.
Well, they weren't really legislators; they're representatives.
But that's what they're saying. Though.
Yes.
He was moving the location where they would have to go.
The government was giving
gather.
the runaround back in the day, and just like the government gives you the runaround today.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And more coming up from the Declaration of Independence on Free Talk Live.
Ralph, remember when you said you were going to start paying more attention to your health and now you're eating potato chips?
Just a few.
A few, okay, but you should be eating Superberry's Aronia berries.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness. Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
Wow, look at all the benefits of these berries.
I know, Ralph, I know.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
If there's a toxic chemical, biological, gas, smoke emergency while traveling, at home, or on your job, are you protected? Are you prepared? There are over 400,000 fires in the USA every year. Up to 85% of all deaths in a fire are due to smoke inhalation. 3 minutes without air, and we as humans will die. Be prepared and escape safely with our Safe Escape Smoke Hoods, giving you up to 60 minutes of breathable air protection. Order yours online at ase-safety.com. That's ase-safety.com. And get up to 40% off, plus free shipping.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free and join us right here. Our number for you is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, 855-450-3733. Skype on in here. It's Skype username LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Talking about the Declaration of Independence. It is Independence Day, and we're here live. We're doing the show as we normally do from 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time, as we do 7 nights a week through the holidays as well. So we're going to continue with sharing this, and then we will get into your calls and thoughts if you want to join us and take control of the airwaves. You can comment on the Declaration as well. Whatever you want to discuss goes here at 855-450-FREE. And Skype username LRN.FM. So, Mark, where are we at? We're still going through the laundry list of wrongs that or perceived wrongs by the King of England to the colonists in the United States.
Right. Thomas Jefferson's listing
the colonies.
The listing what he feels. Well, he's claimed that they're states at this moment.
Oh, okay. In the Declaration. Okay.
Right. In the Declaration, he claims that the colonies are now states.
Got it.
And he is listing off the things that he feels that the king has done incorrect. And he has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He is, So
if the House of Representatives didn't go along with it, he would just dissolve them.
Right.
Is what they're saying.
He's a bad guy for, basically not listening to the people is what the claim is here. But I wonder, I can't think of any other organization that might do that now. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers incapable of annihilation, so like annulling the laws, have returned to the people at large for their exercise. The state remaining, in the meantime, exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convolutions from within. So he's saying, you're keeping us in a state of anarchy. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for that purpose, obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of lands.
Refusing to pass others hither, meaning he's not allowing more people to migrate to the colonies?
Right. They're complaining that people aren't able to come in. Not like it is now, where they're like, hey, stop this.
Interesting.
New people. Of course, that's what socialism does. Socialism makes it so you don't want people there. People are an asset to a country, to a community.
Bring skills and ideas.
Right. So new people are good unless socialism's been put in place, in which case, now we have this whole world where people are having a very difficult time moving from one place to another, finding new freedoms, being able to raise their families and doing all these things because of socialism. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries.
As you might expect, and I got to say, I've read some of the Declaration of Independence. I don't think I've read the whole thing personally, but a lot of this.
That's why I want to read it.
Just it doesn't apply necessarily because it's them. It doesn't apply today. Some of it certainly does apply today, but a lot of it doesn't because it's just the legitimate complaints of people who don't like the king. They don't like the structure of this one-man ruling. They wanted to have a structure where more than one man could rule and, give people the idea that they somehow have some sort of influence over it. So they just had what they thought was a better idea.
This wasn't one-man ruling. The king was the chief executive of a country that essentially was built like ours.
But no, he was saying that the king could just wipe out legislatures, that he could move around the location of the legislative meetings.
He was doing things beyond
it sounds to me
power.
like he was doing anything he wanted to do, as a king would be able to do, given the king is the sovereign power or whatever in any given area.
What's the difference between King George doing it and a legislature doing it or Donald Trump doing it?
Not a whole lot, but to them there was a difference.
Let me read this.
Okay.
He has made judges dependent on his will alone for their tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. What is the difference between that claim and any governor in America?
Well, now there's 535 people in Washington, D.C.
What is the difference between that statement and any governor in America?
Are you using governor in a general term or governor in a specific term?
Governor is a title.
Okay.
Governors make judges dependent on their will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. In many
Some
states.
governors don't.
You're right. You're right. Some states do elections for judges.
Right.
But, these claims, all these claims are relevant to today. They're not relevant.
Not all of them, but some of them are.
Point one out, please.
Moving the legislature around to exhaust them. That doesn't happen today.
But they still exhaust people.
But what he said doesn't happen today. They're not moving the location from Washington to New York to, Texas or whatever. They're not jumping it around just to screw with people.
You're right about that. But they do make it very difficult to deal with the government, and they give very little help. If you've ever been to a town, county, or whatever office attempting to say, look, I'd like some remedy to this problem. I've got this problem. And they're like, I'm sorry. Whatever.
Get a lawyer.
Yeah, they just, we're not allowed to give legal advice. Sorry.
Right.
Those kind of things. They just don't care. And the runaround, that's when you can get an answer.
I agree with you. You can extrapolate from their complaints similar complaints to today, but it's not exactly the same because a lot of their complaints
couldn't possibly be exactly the same. These people ran on horses.
A lot of their complaints are just, it sounds like they want their own government, which is what they got, right? Like they wanted to have a crack at it. They thought they could design a better government. They really did think they could design a better government than the king.
And I'm just simply asking people here on the day, the anniversary of the day this document was voted on and ratified, whether or not we got what these people fought and died for.
I would say they succeeded in one way because they did create a more successful government.
They succeeded in replicating the government that they left, except that they have a president, which is a king that's elected for 4 years.
Yeah, and these were men who were probably at some level in search of that power for themselves. They were envious, likely, of the king, even though the king was a bad guy and was doing bad things that they've correctly outlined here. They themselves were interested in having power over others, and so that's ultimately what they're setting up here, is just their own power structure, and arguably it's been a very successful one, right? It's been around for hundreds of years, much longer than a lot of governments last, and it's grown much larger than the king's government had grown in its influence around the world and its oppression as well.
How about this one? He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their subsistence.
That happens today, for sure.
He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He is
now they have the consent.
Right.
Now the standing army's here, and it's got consent of the legislature.
And I would remind everybody, the police didn't exist at this time. That people kept the peace by themselves, essentially.
As communities.
There was a sheriff that had the keys to the county jail, but not much policing was done at this time. So the idea of keeping a standing army was essentially, they would have considered the police a standing army, let alone the standing army that exists today. He is affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. So is I would say that our military probably is not independent of, civil power currently, but, that's it's a small solace, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Is there more from
Yes. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws.
Now, what Constitution was he talking about there?
They wrote all kinds of documents at that time. They were always writing things, putting together legislatures that were getting disbanded, just doing things to try to rule themselves. And I think it's fair to say that, look, we tried this. We were doing things that were sort of legal all along. And you didn't pay attention.
Okay.
Unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation. So, he would decide, he put his cronies in power and, have votes that only they could win and that sort of thing.
Our toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. More from the Declaration?
Just a bit more.
A little bit more than your calls and thoughts. So stand by. We're going to get with you here on the Independence Day edition of Free Talk Live, where you can join us on the radio.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com.
Aging is one thing that affects everyone. George has talked about the power of stem cells for years. Now, there's a new serum that harnesses that stem cell power to bring back your youthful look. Beverly Hills doctor Nathan Newman.
Stem cells are basically our fountain of youth. This is what maintains our body's reparative, regenerative abilities. As we age, every cell breaks down and needs to be replaced, and what replaces it is the stem cell.
Dr. Newman and Janess have developed Luminess. Luminess takes the science of stem cells, using the same growth factor complex that literally heals our cells, slowing the appearance of the aging process. Apply Luminess twice daily, and on average, see results in a week. Learn more, watch our video, and order today at a special Coast website, healthylooking.com. Plus, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's healthylooking.com. Luminess, for a healthier, much younger, better-looking you. Buy now at healthylooking.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free and join us here. Our number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. We're talking about the Declaration of Independence and actually reading it on the air, going through the list of what they perceived that the king had done wrong, which is a pretty long list.
And it's really a whole bunch like what our government does wrong today.
There's definitely some parallels, and we're going to continue with that. Also, we're then going to get into your calls and thoughts, and I appreciate everybody being patient as we get through this, because I just know if we go back into the phones, we're probably never going to finish this thing. So, Mark, you said there's only a little bit remaining of the Declaration of Independence here?
I'd say we're more than halfway through, if
more
that's
than
what you're
halfway.
asking.
Okay, it sounded like we were further than that. Okay, all right, well, keep going.
For quartering, this is something that does not go on today. for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by mock trial from punishment from any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states. Well,
that happens with the police. Like you said, the police didn't exist back then, but today the police are murdering innocent people.
I don't think that the king or the government protects the police with mock trials. I think what you have instead is just people who have been inculcated with the notion that that these people with flags on their sides of their arms, whether they're police or soldiers or firefighters or whomever, they need protection from the machinations of the state far beyond what the rest of us do. Now, and my evidence for that would be if you or I go to trial, the chances of us being found guilty, mind you, the chances of you going to trial are near nothing. And much higher for police. But, if we go to trial, the chances of you being found guilty is about 66%. If police go to trial, the chance of them being found guilty is about 20%. That is a vast chasm. 4 out of 5 police officers are found not guilty. 1 out of 3 people are found not guilty. That's a big difference.
Huh? Wait, 1 out of
3 people is found not guilty. 4 out of 5 police are found not guilty. 1 out of 3 people.
3 people, but most people don't go
to trial.
Okay.
Right. Well, if they make it to trial.
I thought it was way less than 1 out of 3, but.
No, it's 66% of people that go to. You would presume that somebody who takes something to trial is likely to be innocent because they went through all the trouble of dealing with the government for probably 3 years to be able to get to a trial, and then finally at the very end, they get found guilty 2 out of 3 times.
Let's keep going.
For cutting off our trade with other parts of the world. Does the government prevent you from trading?
They sure do.
Yeah, they do. For imposing taxes on us without our consent.
They do that all the time.
Do you consent to taxes?
No.
For deriving us of many of the benefit of trial by jury. Now,
that happens.
You have been deprived. America, listen to me right now. You were deprived of the benefit of trial by jury, and here is how it happened. It happened because of this system of plea bargaining that exists today. You'll be given a plea bargain. And you'll have to do the mental calculations and say, do I want to pay $10,000 for a lawyer to take me through, or do I just want to take the probation or the 2 months in jail or whatever it is? Whatever it might be, you're just not getting that day in court to find out whether or not a jury of your peers considers what you have done to be wrong.
Well, not only that, Mark, but also they got rid of the trial by jury just by simply legislating it away. They, meaning the governments of today. And what I mean by that is, like here in New Hampshire, and it's different in every state, but here in New Hampshire, you cannot get a trial by jury for anything that is less than a Class A misdemeanor. So there's a whole bunch of misdemeanors that are what's called Class B in New Hampshire, and there are a whole bunch of violation level things like, crossing the street, not at a crosswalk or speeding and that kind of crap. You should be able to get a trial for anything according to the Constitution of, $20 value or more, which is pretty much every ticket that could ever be written. But no, you don't get trials by juries for those things. In fact, all you can get is a bench trial. And that just means, the judge that works for the government, along with the prosecutor that works for the government, and all the witnesses that work for the government are going to be aligned against you. So, yeah, trial by jury is a very limited thing today.
For transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Now, I wouldn't say that necessarily happens. Usually you'll get your trial right, in a relatively, close proximity to where you are. But you'll likely be incarcerated if it's a federal offense thousands of miles from where you're from in many cases. So, there's that.
Yeah, they did that with Ross Ulbricht.
For abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule to these colonies. I guess they're talking about
Canada or something?
My guess.
Okay.
For taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our governments. Now, the form of your government has been altered fundamentally since the Constitution took place. This is the Declaration of Independence.
Sure. How about the Federal Reserve as a great example, or the income tax? These are pretty fundamental changes in how the government operates.
for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. Do you feel, American people, like your legislature represents you, or as though some group of people have instituted this legislature and that it just reigns upon you?
The latter.
That's how I feel. He has abdicated, the king has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. It's hyperbole, but it certainly happened after this document was put in place. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt out our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. Like I said, there were many revolutions that occurred before the Revolutionary War, and, soldiers deal with those things the way soldiers deal with those things.
Right.
He, the king, is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages and totally unworthy the head of civilized nation.
The U.S. government hires mercenaries, too, and they put them over in the Middle East.
Yeah, in this case...
Blackwater.
Well, those things are all true, yeah. He has constrained our fellow citizens, taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. So essentially he's conscribing sailors into his navy.
Right.
And then using that navy against the colonies.
Have not there been times, and I believe still are, where some judges will give convicted criminals in the U.S. the opportunity to join the military rather than go to jail?
Yeah, it's been some time.
It still happens, I think, to this day in certain places.
I don't know where.
I've heard about it.
Yep, well, I'll take your word for it. It's more likely they're doing it because they don't want to go to jail.
That's the point. You either join the military or you go to jail. It's the same thing here. A little different than just straight up putting a gun to their head and conscripting them, but basically the same.
He's excited domestic insurrections among us and has endeavored to bring the inhabitants of our frontiers, the merciless Indian savages, those known rule of warfare is an indistinguished from destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. And so he's he's gotten people to attack. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by their ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They, too, have been deaf on the voice of justice and consanguinity. We must, therefore, acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them, as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace friends. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States, they use a little u here, of America and General Congress,
theory guys.
assembled, appealing to the supreme judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, due in the name and by authority
I'm lost already. I'm sorry.
Of these good people. Basically just saying, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right, ought to be free and independent. Which we are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally disavowed. And
I wish they would have just stopped there, because then they had to go on and make a big old government of all those different states.
It's true. I've just got a little bit left. And that the free and independent states, that they have the full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all their acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with our firm reliance on the Declaration of Divine Providence, we mutually pledge to each other in our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor.
More coming up. Hour 3 is on the way. Free Talk Live.
You have probably heard about Bitcoin and virtual currencies, but you really don't know what to do next. Maybe you feel like they have already passed you by. Nothing could be further from the truth. Bitcoin is an emerging technology still. It's still in beta and it's sweeping the globe. All the information that you need to learn about Bitcoin is at bitcoin.com. Go to your browser, Type in Bitcoin.com, choose a wallet program, get Bitcoins, and then spend Bitcoins. Bitcoin.com, the only site you need to know for virtual currencies. Bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, July 4th, 2017. Silver's trading at $16.10 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,225 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,616. Antiwar.com reports Pentagon officials confirmed on Monday that they carried out an airstrike on Sunday morning inside the country of Somalia and that they were trying to target the al-Shabaab insurgency, saying they were after specific militant targets. What they actually hit, however, is not clear at all, with no words yet out of Somalia on the results of the strike, and the Pentagon insisting that they were still assessing the results and holding out the idea they might provide information in the future as appropriate. In practice, however, the Pentagon has recently been very tight-lipped about the results of airstrikes, especially those that did not go according to plan, meaning that al-Shabaab was targeted. It may very well be the last we ever hear about this incident. The Trump administration has given the Pentagon increased autonomy to carry out operations in several places around the world, including Somalia, and this is the second such strike in a little over a month. The previous strike was said to kill 8 militants. As far as this strike, it's anyone's guess. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports the Russian government said Monday it is losing patience with U.S. officials over the property confiscated in the closure of Kremlin diplomatic compounds in the last few months. Former President Barack Obama imposed sanctions against Russian diplomats in December as punishment for Moscow's reputed interference in the presidential election. As a result, Russian officials were not allowed access to their property. On Monday, a representative of President Vladimir Putin said the Kremlin is running out of patience. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov said, "As a rule, we have spoken about the principle of reciprocity. As for Russia's patience on this matter, it is running out. That has also been mentioned at various levels." Russian officials were refused access to their buildings starting December 30th. The U.S. sanctions affected the Russian embassies in Washington, D.C., the Consulate General in San Francisco, and compounds in New York and Maryland. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Maryland, Delaware, and Louisiana on Monday joined a growing number of U.S. states that have refused to hand over voter data to a commission established by President Donald Trump to investigate possible voter fraud. More than 20 states, including Virginia, Kentucky, California, New York, and Massachusetts, have declined to provide some or all of the information on the panel requested, saying it was unnecessary and violated privacy. Trump created the Presidential Advisory Commission on Election Integrity in May after making unsubstantiated claims that millions of people voted illegally for his main rival, Hillary Clinton, in last November's election. Calling the request repugnant, Maryland Attorney General Brian Frosh said in a statement that his office had advised the State Board of Elections that the commission's request was illegal. Frosh said the request appears designed only to intimidate voters and to indulge President Trump's fantasy that he won the popular vote. The commission sent a letter to the 50 states asking them to turn over voter information, including names, the last 4 digits of Social Security numbers, addresses, birth dates, political affiliations, felony convictions, and voting history. Louisiana Secretary of State Tom Shedler said the Presidential Commission could purchase the limited information legally available to candidates running for office. He said in a statement, "You're not going to play politics with Louisiana's voter data." Delaware Election Commissioner Elaine Manlove said in an interview that her office would not comply since the information was confidential. Manlove said she was working with the Attorney General's office to see if the request could be denied completely. Trump has blasted the states who have refused to turn over the data and posted a tweet on Saturday asking, "What are they trying to hide?" Civil rights activists said the commission will encourage voter suppression by justifying new barriers to voting, such as requiring identity cards to vote. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Federal authorities are currently on high alert in Washington, D.C., following reports that hundreds of crazed sociopaths infiltrated the congressional chambers this morning. Mary Canley, a Capitol employee who managed to escape the House chambers, described the troubling scene to reporters.
I saw all of them. About 400 to 500 completely deranged people just rambling on about guns, the military, and money.
Investigators say the lunatics, many of whom are believed to suffer from severe personality disorders, have locked themselves in the chambers for hours now, with no clear purpose or reasoning.
I looked at one of them right in the eyes, and it was like he was empty on the inside, devoid of any emotion or feeling. It was horrifying. It's only a matter of time before they do something that really hurts someone.
We believe these men to be manipulative and extremely dangerous. Luckily, they are also very disorganized, and there is a chance they may never be able to ever take any action at all. For more on this developing story, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can join us right here. All you have to do is dial on in here toll free. Yep, that's right. We're here live on Independence Day with you tonight. It's Ian.
And Mark.
We're going to go right back into your phone calls and thoughts, and also want to invite you to join us toll free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well. So Skype on in here at Skype, username LRN.FM. If you want to sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us, Skype's a big audio quality increase over regular calls. We're going back to the phones and to the fun. We just spent the last hour, actually, of the show going over the Declaration of Independence. And if we get a chance, we'll talk some more about Bitcoin coming up here. But your calls come first. So let's go to John in Kentucky. John, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark.
Hey, I wanted to bring up, I don't know if you've heard the news about North Korea.
No.
Testing ICBM last night.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, their 10th missile this year.
Did it actually fly farther than the launch pad this time?
Yeah, I think it flew for about 40 minutes, went over 500 miles, like an altitude of like over 1,000 feet.
Jeez.
So, yeah, everyone's freaking out about it. Apparently, the president is calling like an emergency, like UN meeting, and Rex Tillerson, Secretary of State's talking about it. Like it's a big deal, I guess.
And China and Russia are, now going to go talk to North Korea and say, hey, we got to stop this.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. There's that, and then heard on the radio today John McCain talking about Afghanistan. And this is what he said. He said, he's like, we need to get a new strategy in Afghanistan the strategy, a new strategy that would the strategy would be to win, not like our old strategy, which was not to lose. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Here's a new strategy for you. How about you leave? How about you pack it up, bring the troops home, bring the ships home, bring the aircraft carriers or whatever the heck it is they've got over there, bring it all back, and call it a day. How about that?
I'd really like to see someone like John McCain actually articulate what exactly it is that they want to accomplish.
I saw a clip of him the other day. He's not very good at articulating much of anything. They say that he's gone senile or something.
Yeah, well I don't know. I guess spending enough time on up there might do that to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what his mental condition is, but
it didn't look good.
The difficulty is that they're attempting to impose a government on this particular place.
To North Korea?
No, Afghanistan.
Oh,
what are we
sorry.
talking about here?
I jumped in there. Go ahead.
And it doesn't have the look as though enough people want Mosul to be able to decide what they're doing out there in the Pashtun provinces or whatever it is. And I mean, you can't make people, you can't enforce a government upon people. At least you can't do it very cheaply. And I don't think the American people really have the will or the desire. It just seems like, once again, in the recent past, this has happened too many times, but once again, hundreds of American lives have been wasted on, something that's going to return to basically its condition once we leave.
Right, and then I hear the president today doing some sort of stupid speech about, Independence Day or whatever, and he's saying, it's because of our brave men and women who, bring us the freedoms that we enjoy in this country. It's like, what? Does anyone actually believe that?
Yes,
or do they even
do
they pay attention? Do they pay attention to that? They just go outside and fire up the grill and the fireworks, and
if you say anything,
happy Fourth.
You talk to them online. You talk to people online. They're absolutely like, you rise and sleep by the freedoms that these people have provided.
You'd be speaking German, Mark, if it weren't for them.
Well, I mean, yeah, like those people are dead by and large. People that fought in World War II.
Yeah, but you'd be speaking Japanese if it weren't for them.
Well, fine, but you can't claim that...
Or German, or both. You'd be speaking both.
Anything that I say has anything to do with disrespecting dead people. You cannot disrespect a dead person. So what they're actually talking...
Sure you can.
How can a dead person feel disrespect?
You can disrespect a dead person by doing something to its grave, for instance, or saying nasty things about them after the fact.
Fine. What the point that I'm trying to make here is that when was the last just war? When was the last war that was worth spending hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of lives on since World War II?
What do you think, John?
Yeah, I mean, it's completely. That's a good argument to have and a good debate, and that's almost exhausting, though, and I'd rather just spend the time and energy talking about this one or the dozens that are going on right now, and so, the liberals who are crying over Hillary Clinton not being elected they're still going on about that and still, missing Barack Obama because he was such a Nobel Peace Prize loving person, and it's just like, what? I mean, do you guys not pay attention to the fact that these guys are shooting missiles and drones and causing quote-unquote collateral damage, killing dozens of people in a wedding party?
No, they didn't pay attention to that when Barack Obama was in office.
That would be inconvenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think with this guy in office right now, the Republican that everyone hates, you'd think those people would have been like, hey, well, now I don't like it because this guy's doing it, but there doesn't seem to be any of that either.
Yeah, that's a great point. John, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. It's John in Kentucky. Your calls and thoughts are welcome as well. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like Freedom, 855-450-3733. We go to Jack Wagon calling us from Utah. Go ahead.
Hey, guys.
Hey, are you on a speakerphone or are you on a microphone?
I'm on a low-quality microphone.
Okay. Still, it's better than a cell phone.
Get as close to it as you can.
Yeah, I think you're all right. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, I've been listening for about a year now, and you guys do the best radio show ever.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
So thank you. And tonight I wanted to talk about Bitcoin.
Yeah. Okay.
I just watched the video of Craig Wright at the Future of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I've
This
heard.
is a new thing that just came out?
Yeah, supposedly Craig Wright, the guy who claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto.
That was supposedly debunked in that claim.
Yeah, well, supposedly. I mean, I don't know anything. But he gave some speech at the Future of Bitcoin, which is a conference that went on
Just
very
happened.
recently.
Yeah.
And apparently a lot of people are pretty impressed by this. Go on.
Yeah, okay. So whether or not the guy is actually Satoshi Nakamoto, he was certainly there during the creation of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And when I compare guys like that and Roger Ver, who, Roger Ver is clearly coming from a place of non-selfishness or whatever.
That's what it seems like, but...
Well, Roger is certainly... Nobody ever comes from a place of non-selfishness. I mean, everybody is selfish in almost everything that they do. Even things that appear to be unselfish are always based on selfishness. I tend to agree with Ayn Rand on that. I don't really much care for her in a lot of ways, but I think she was right about that.
But the selfish thing that he wants is a principled base to Bitcoin.
Well, it certainly helps that he has a bunch of Bitcoin, right? So if Bitcoin does well, then Roger will do well. And he is spending a lot of his Bitcoin on promoting Bitcoin. He's the owner of Bitcoin.com. He's been very generous. You can be generous and selfish at the same time. He's been very generous because it feels good to be generous. People don't do things for charity, for instance, because it feels bad. They do it because it feels good to help others. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so I just wanted to make it clear. Yes, Roger is incredibly generous when it comes to promoting Bitcoin above, pretty much anything else that he does. I mean, he's an incredible... I would say he's an incredible, what's the right word?
Activist?
Ambassador, maybe, activist for Bitcoin. He's done a lot. He dragged us into it, and thank goodness. And he's brought so many people personally into the world of Bitcoin. I remember when he came here in Keene, New Hampshire years ago and just was giving away Bitcoin to people, to anybody who would talk to him about it and set up a wallet. He'd give them 10 Bitcoin on the spot back when they were worth like $1 a piece. And
yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, so he deserves a lot of credit for it. There's no doubt about it. But to say it was unselfish, I would say is wrong.
I totally agree also that everything comes from some selfish...
Jack, I know you're going somewhere with this. Hang on. We're going to bring you back. We'll continue.
Hold on, Jack Wagon.
The discussion with Jack Wagon in Utah. The toll-free number here, I wonder if that's his family name. It's a great name.
Yeah.
855-450-free, 855-450-3733. What goes on in a Jack Wagon anyway? We're coming up. 855-450-free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Warning. If you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears. Because there's an alternative to bankruptcy, and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now, 1-800-660-1581. That's 1-800-660-1581. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581.
Biochemistry determines your mood, memory, energy, and endurance. Your body's primary metabolic function is to make protein. One World Whey is a unique, non-denatured protein. This enables your body to have virtually 100% utilization, whereas typical whey protein powders offer no more than 18% utilization of protein. One World Whey also delivers life-giving frequencies to your cells. The net result for so many people is improved energy, mood, and elimination of pain from inflammation.
This technologically enhanced One World Whey has been really amazing for me. I'm 36 years old, and for the past several years, I've been struggling with lack of energy, drive, and stamina. And after just 2 weeks on this product, I'm feeling so much more energy. My yoga practice has deepened, and as a massage therapist, I'm able to see more clients than I've been able to in years. I've never felt results that quick with anything I've ever taken.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld, WHEY.com.
the Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and it's Independence Day. We're here in the studio. We'll talk to you about whatever's on your mind. You can dial in toll-free and join us here at 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Ian and Mark in the studio. Mark, before we go back to our caller there, I want to make sure you give an update from Africa. Hope.freetalklive.com, where you and the folks over at Cell 411 and Jax have been raising money to help out building an orphanage.
Yeah, we've sent at this point a little less than $12,000. We've gotten essentially half of the building built. The first floor is on. The roof/floor of the second floor is going in now. It's going to be concrete. This thing's going to be built like a battleship. It's going to be built real well with the intention that this orphanage will serve the people of Jinja, Uganda, going on generations in the future.
You've got a picture up of the progress, too, over at hope.freetalklive.com.
Yeah, I need to put a new picture up because it's beyond that. You're right. I'll put up another one here right now, as you know, in the next segment. But yeah, it's going well. I'm looking to raise about another $2,500 to be ready for the next time they need some money. They just got some supplies. They kind of get them piecemeal. They don't want to get a bunch at once. If you had all the supplies in one place at one time, they'd get stolen. And I don't want to give them a bunch of money because they don't need to be holding on to that. They're not banks. So I'm just doling it out little by little. And, that way I can show progress. I can show people we're doing what we say we're doing and that sort of thing. So please go to hope.freetalklive.com if you want to help 40-something kids in Africa have a bed, a locker, or a closet, depending on their situation, and a place to wash their face and take a shower before they go to school. That's all we're doing here.
And you'll get your donation matched, doubled. So double matched or tripled, however you want to look at it.
Double matched, tripled, yes. So, I'm looking to raise that. Thank you to, I just got a donation.
So you donate $50 and $150 end up going into the pot.
Yeah, Jeff just donated $57 just moments ago, so thank you for that.
Thanks, Jeff.
And thanks for everybody who's donated up to this point. So thanks.
So hope.freetalklive.com to learn more and learn how to donate. Is that right? All right, excellent. Let's get back to Jack. He's on the line in Utah. Jack, you're back on Free Talk Live. Now, you were telling us you were watching a video of a guy who claimed at least, like a year ago to be Satoshi Nakamoto. There have been some questions as to whether or not those claims were valid. But regardless, he was speaking at a recent convention, a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency convention called The Future of Bitcoin or something like that. And I guess you wanted to tell us a little bit more, so please do.
Okay. He gave, so far, the best explanation I've seen of what Bitcoin is and what SegWit turns it into.
SegWit is segregated witness, which is a proposal to supposedly help Bitcoin scale more effectively.
Right, and sidechains might well be useful for some projects or whatever, but that's not what Bitcoin was ever about. And things like user-activated soft fork never made any sense to me.
This is a idea. The user-activated soft fork has a deadline of August 1st, where some people are going to, in protest, basically try to swing the Bitcoin future in their direction. They're going to activate this soft fork where they will refuse certain blocks on the blockchain that are coming through. They'll refuse the ones that don't meet their specifications to have this segregated witness thing going on, or their version of it, or whatever. And the hope the user-activated soft fork people have is that they will get miners to back their plan, because what happens is if the miners don't get behind it, it really isn't going to go anywhere meaningful.
Right.
So they're hoping to have miners back their plan, and that may result in Bitcoin splitting into more than one Bitcoin. Different types of Bitcoin, if you will, as a result of that, and that could be a real mess.
That could be a real mess.
Yeah. So what about the soft fork?
So
he doesn't support it?
He doesn't support it. No, he's in favor of increasing the block size, and he gives a pretty good explanation of how Bitcoin can scale right now without SegWit and Lightning.
Well, unfortunately, the segregated witness thing, I mean, for people that are against it, I don't know enough about it. I can't say one way or the other. I mean, I know some people are saying it'll help with scaling. I'm presuming they think they know what they're talking about.
I've seen pretty convincing article to the contrary, but what do I know?
Yeah, I don't know enough technically to say for sure, but it would seem like SegWit's going to happen at this point, because SegWit 2X, this plan that they came up with in New York to combine the idea of increasing the block size and the segregated witness into the same plan, has support of 80, or supposedly has support of 83 or 84% of the mining power out there. So, I mean, for all the people that are saying don't do SegWit, I mean, do they have enough? They don't have enough weight to stop it from happening at this point. It looks like it's going into play.
Yeah, it does look like it's going into play. They already have it on Litecoin, as far as I know, and I don't understand why that's not good enough anyways. But when you compare the opinions of the big blockers, who to me seem like they really understand the technology a lot better, compared to those kids over at the core team, it just seems night and day that...
Well, I hear the core team's brilliant, but I think that it just comes down to goals, and it seems like there's a lot of people on the small block side that just want big fees, and why?
Seems
it's
insane.
Beyond me. I just don't understand.
Well, why, if SegWit's so bad, okay, so if segregated witness is so bad, why would 83% of the miners sign on for it?
Because it's very tricky to find out, I think, what the truth is about all of it.
What, is this like the government where they have to pass the law to see what's in it? I mean, I would expect that these programmers would know in advance whether SegWit was good or bad.
Right, it's been tried out on Litecoin at this point for 2 months. Seems like it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I believe all the hype that SegWit is somehow going to damage Bitcoin. I just don't know if I buy that, because the people who signed this agreement, they obviously want to move forward, because the Bitcoin universe has been at loggerheads, at a standstill, essentially for 2-3 years, as they've been arguing about which way to go. As far
World War Geek got pretty bad.
As far as fixing the growing pains that Bitcoin has, because the transactions are loaded up and basically the network is full. So they've been arguing about this forever. You would think that if segregated witness was such a bad plan, that these people who have said yes to it would have said, hell no, this is a terrible idea, and they would just stick and then split Bitcoin if they had to. But no, they came to an accord. They came to an agreement. They said, yes, we'll implement SegWit, and then, no more than 6 months later, we'll double the block size from 1 megabyte to 2. So, sort of both sides have gotten what they wanted, even though they didn't get exactly only their thing, but
That's
they got
a compromise for you.
Right. Both sides got their thing. They didn't get just their thing. They got their thing and the other thing. But again, if one or the other thing was such a bad idea, would there really ever have been a compromise? That's what I'd like to know, and I'm not suggesting you have the answer, but just sort of asking rhetorically. Jack Wagon, thanks for calling in tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. And if you want, you can join us on Skype, as he did. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. Again, toll-free number 855-450-3733. It is the Independence Day edition of Free Talk Live, and you, as always, can take control of the airwaves.
Are you looking to become more self-sufficient? Then you need to have your own energy source. The SolarArc EMP hardened generator is automatic, maintenance-free, and reduces your monthly electric bill. You can also take it off-grid when you go camping. Contact PortableSolarLLC.com or call for details at 972-575-8875 today. Portable Solar LLC gives you everything you need to start using solar energy in less than 1 hour. SolarArc EMP hardened solar generator energy insurance for your family or business. Call Portable Solar LLC today.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon, or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Take control of the airwaves. Bring up what you want. Our number is 855-450. Free like freedom. 855-450-3733. We're going to continue with more of your calls and your thoughts. Whatever you want to discuss goes here on the Independence Day edition of Free Talk Live with me, Ian.
And me, Mark.
Let's go to the phones and to the fun. We've got Dave. He's in New Hampshire. I presume it's Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. Is this Dave?
Dave Ridley from NHExit.com.
Aha! Changing the branding for tonight. Okay, NHExit. I like NHExit. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I was wondering if you guys had already talked about the Foundation for New Hampshire Independence and their activities today.
Yes. Well, actually, it was last night that we talked about that because the activities for Keene, that's where we do the show from, Keene, New Hampshire, that happens on the eve of Independence Day. So the night before Independence Day, they have a baseball game in Keene where after the baseball game, they let off a bunch of fireworks. And that's sort of, for whatever reason, it's traditionally always happened on the night before Independence Day. And so we headed down to do some outreach there. Me and Matt, who's my current roommate, we went out and we hit them up and gave out big stacks, like 2 big old stacks of Foundation for New Hampshire Independence flyers, which, as I was explaining last night, are a great flyer to hand out because it really does a solid job of selling the idea and the benefits of being a free, independent New Hampshire, independent from the United States, without using that sort of dirty word of secession that might possibly scare somebody away at a first glance. So it's a great flyer, and we were very successful over about an hour and a half in handing all of the flyers out that we had brought to hand out. So we did that. What else have you heard about going on, Dave? Because I haven't really heard about much.
Well, I wanted to thank you for doing that, first of all.
Sure.
But also there was an idea that more or less probably fell through this year that hopefully we'll get to do next year. But sometimes our laser guy goes to the 4th of July and puts pro-liberty messages on the buildings around.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And this year, I think there was uncertainty whether he could actually go to the 4th of July celebration.
Clearly, we need more laser guys. I mean, it's Bill Domenico you're talking about is a great guy, really talented person. Technically, he can build like anything, especially electronics. And but we need more people like that, more people who have the capability, because Bill can't be in every place at once. And in this case, as you said, he wasn't able to be there at all. So if we have more people with those capabilities or with lasers who are willing to use them, then we'd be better off.
Well, we had discussed the possibility of this time making it more like the New York Central Square ticker, where there's news on news headlines. I was gonna maybe write up 5 or 10 New Hampshire Independence news headlines, and
that's cool.
Blurb those out to the public. Which they're never going to get angry about something like that generally. And I think he indicated that last year he got some kind of negative response. Maybe his message was too preachy or something like that. He didn't think the response was very positive to what he was putting out. But hopefully next year we can do this actual news updates, because there are a lot of little ones about what's going on with New Hampshire independence.
Well, I can tell you that on another update, our former co-host here, Derek J. Freeman, has posted a 6 or 7 minute long video on freekeen.com and presumably on his YouTube channel, because it's on YouTube, called "The New Secessionists Declare Independence." And he says, "This Independence Day, I'm pushing a meme of New Hampshire independence. It is its own country of 1,331,000 people with a unique set of cultural, economic, and philosophical values. It's about time you and I start referring to New Hampshire as a country. Forget draining the swamp, leave the swamp. Then he posts the 6-minute-long recruiting video to encourage folks to promote the idea of New Hampshire secession. So we definitely have some media outreach going on. We had the physical outreach here in Keene, as we have had for, I would say, at least several years in a row now in Keene. And there were a couple of years when there were some folks in other areas who did that Independence Day outreach. And I don't know if anybody organized elsewhere this year. I heard rumor that Derek J. was going to be doing it. But the fact is, Dave, we're still on the early end of this migration, this New Hampshire freedom migration. Even though it's been going on for more than a decade, we still have thousands more people who have pledged to move up here. And folks need to get here and get active. We need thousands more libertarians here getting active. We've had tremendous success already, but there's still a lot to be done, isn't there?
Yeah, of course, if you walk around outside, you probably can't hear it real well because I'm inside right now, but I was outside a little earlier. If you walk around outside, the New Hampshire sounds like a free place because it's like it sounds like a war zone. There's so many fireworks going off, something you're not even allowed to do in so many states.
Yeah, that's true. And in fact, New Hampshire just legalized firecrackers here, which I was surprised to find out weren't legal in the first place, because New Hampshire is sort of known for having a bunch of fireworks stores on the borders, so people from Massachusetts and Maine can drive over and load up on illegal fireworks that they can then bring back.
You're ascribing motive to perfectly legal businesses operating within the law.
No. It's legal to sell the fireworks, but it's not legal for the Massachusetts people, I don't think, to come back in. They used to position state troopers at the border. They would watch the parking lots of the fireworks stores, and then they would pull over the mass people that would come back and go after them for smuggling in fireworks. They don't do that anymore, so maybe the enforcement is fairly limited now down south, but they were doing that as of like a decade ago when we moved here. Dave, anything else you want to share tonight from the world of New Hampshire secession?
Well, not tonight, but I got more things to call in about. I'll make it a different call.
Always appreciate hearing from you. Dave Ridley, who is still involved over at RidleyReport.com, does great work over on YouTube, giving you kind of some of the inside scoop from what's happening in the activism movement here from his perspective. And he's been doing it longer than he's been doing reporting out of New Hampshire longer than we have, Mark. We moved after Dave did. So he's doing awesome work and definitely deserves a lot of credit. So RidleyReport.com, check him out there. And don't forget to check out Derek J's new video, which I started before the show, but I didn't have enough time to finish it up. So I'm definitely going to check out the rest of it a little bit later on tonight. Also at freekeen.com, I just published a very lengthy article about the Bitcoin fees, and we're not going to have time to talk. We're not going to have time to talk about it tonight, but maybe we can a little bit later, because it basically explains why it is that things are the way they are right now. Sort of gives a brief history of how things got to be the way they are in Bitcoin, and what's happening now. Why are the fees down than what they as compared to what they were about a month ago? What has happened? There's some speculation in there as to what's going on, and
there pretty much has to be.
It was a really long piece. It took me basically all day to do this. I mean, it was essentially the entirety of my afternoon to write this thing up, and I did it because I felt like nobody was talking about this. In fact, the headline is "Bitcoin fees are way down. What happened, and why is virtually no one talking about it?" I mean, there was this headline. We talked to Charlie Shrem on Sunday night about it.
Yeah.
The headline came out 4 or 5 days ago. It was the 30th of June when that came out. It's now the 4th of July. And the headline over at Cointelegraph was about how Charlie Shrem had just basically inadvertently paid a 25-cent fee to send Bitcoin, which is about a tenth of what Bitcoin fees have been up until now, because the Bitcoin fees have been going insane. And I saw this headline, and I didn't believe it. I thought this must have just been a fluke, right? It's just he sent a 25-cent thing, or sent 25-cent fee, and it just happened to get included in a block. Must have been a fluke. Well, on Sunday at our Bitcoin meetup, we tested it. We put it to trial, and we sent some transactions from the Airbits wallet, and they were recommending for Daryl, they recommended a 1 cent fee. A 1 cent fee, which we haven't seen fees like that in 3 years in Bitcoin, basically. 2 or 3 years. And
it's a big
came
week
through
for changes for Bitcoin.
And it came through in less than 4 minutes. The confirmation came through in less than 4 minutes. So, I mean, it was insanely fast for Bitcoin, and it was down to the levels that it had been before. The fees have gone up a little bit since Sunday, and my article goes into exactly, what were they today as compared to Sunday, and again, why is this happening? So if you want to check that out, it's available for you now over at freekeen.com. It's been a busy day at Freekeen. Shire Dude posting episode 2 of his... It features you, Mark. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but the episode 2 of Shire Dude from Somalia Fest and Shire Fest, which we just got back from a couple of weeks ago. And boy, is it offensive. This one could really offend with burnings of American flags and all kinds of other offensive things.
God.
You're going to love it. So check that out at freekeen.com. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
In this week's Onion Tips section, 5 easy ways to adapt your deplorable and parasitic existence for the upcoming Armageddon. Tip 1. Focus on preparing your home for any number of disaster situations, which still probably won't take your mind off of your impending death or the myriad mistakes you made in your short, pitiful life. Tip 2. Make sure your linens are clean prior to the upcoming catastrophe, as these are likely the very same sheets on which you will soon be slowly asphyxiated. Tip 3. Take some time off work and spend your last days free from the bonds of the oppressive machine that was just about the only thing giving you a purpose to your otherwise insignificant days. Tip 4. Spend your final waking minutes before the end of the world with your family, knowing full well you'd rather be doing a number of other gratifying yet completely depraved things. Right, sicko? In other news, a smitten foot fetishist thinks these may be the two. A woman and her gay best friend go on another one of their little adventures, and a dead daughter would have wanted a $220 million liability settlement.
This is the Onion News Network.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free and join us if you want. It's been a busy night here on the phones. Glad folks decided to spend their Independence Day with us. It's Ian and Mark in the studio, and of course, if you're listening later on, you know you can always download episodes anytime over at freetalklive.com. All the site features are free. Those other talk show hosts want to charge you for their websites. We do it free. We give you more for free than a lot of these other talk shows will give you for pay. Like, they put their cam behind the paywall. They put their archives behind the paywall. We don't have a paywall. It's just, free, and it's there for you. Decades plus worth of archives. The YouTube archives as well. So if you want to watch the video version of the show, you can do that. And then, of course, the front page of the website actually even just allows you to submit content right there to the front page and allows other listeners to vote on it. It's a Reddit-based system, and you can head on over to freetalklive.com and get interactive there. Once again, that's freetalklive.com. And if you want to amp the show, if you want to help us spread more Free Talk Live, get on more radio stations around the country, please amp us for $5 a month. You can use any major credit card. You can use Bitcoin. You can use PayPal. Just go to amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com. And also, you'll get perks. You'll get access to the AMP-only Facebook group, the AMP-only phone lines, the AMP-only podcast, and you will also get the AMP badge, the Free Talk Live badge that only amplifiers get on the new Free Talk Live forum. So go to amp.freetalklive.com to get signed up. That's amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Sarah. She's in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark. Hello there, Sarah.
Yes, I just want to mention that there was a chapter about the people living on the moon when I was reading the book Heaven and Hell by Emanuel Swedenborg. But, at that time, I thought, oh, he's got to be crazy. This is all a bunch of nonsense.
That sounds pretty crazy.
And I skipped the chancer. Oh, yeah, you know what? I thought, oh, you know what? How come he makes so much sense on all the other chapters, and he put this people living on the moon?
Now, what was this person's name, this author?
Yeah, Emanuel Swedenborg. I think he lived like 600 years ago in Sweden. And he was a theologian.
Can you spell the last name?
Swedenborg. Swedenborg, like in Swedenborg.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, he was actually from Swedenborg.
And he believed that there were people who were living on the moon?
Well, actually, he had a whole chapter about it. And I want to go back and read that chapter because now I do believe that there are people on the moon.
Why?
Because,
why would you believe that? I mean, there's no atmosphere.
Well, the thing about it is that lunar landing was a hoax. They have satellite image pictures of cities on the moon.
No, they
and
don't.
Of course yes, they do.
That's a load of garbage. I've never heard of any such thing. A quick Google search would reveal whatever these lame-o pictures are supposed to be, which, of course, you yourself have never done, right? You've never seen these alleged photos, correct?
No, but it's actually the.
Why would you go around saying that there are pictures of cities on the moon if you yourself have never seen them?
Well, because I heard it on a late night, 2 o'clock in the morning when I used to have that show here.
Yeah, you're talking about the overnight kook show, the
Coast to Coast.
Coast to Coast.
Yeah, they banned that show 5 years ago.
No, they didn't.
I used to say,
who's they? Who is they?
The Inquisitor claims the moon is actually an alien UFO spaceship, and it's hollow inside, full of places for aliens to live and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but the thing is also the Hare Krishnas. I read one of the books, and it also had a chapter about life on the moon.
Okay.
And then I skipped that.
There's no pictures on Google of people living on the moon. There's sort of graphics of what it would be like or something.
Yeah. I mean, just because somebody writes a book, Sarah, doesn't mean that something's true. You know that, right?
Well, if one person writes it, and then Srila Prabhupada, the founder of the Hare Krishna, he had a chapter of the life on the moon. Okay, he says that, and then there's another person talking about satellite photos on the moon. Well, it must be true.
No.
And then I know that
no, that does not follow.
So what do you think they're getting by being on the moon? I mean, you'd think that there would be something they would be mining or some reason that they would spend the
moon
inordinate inordinate amount of money that it would cost to live on the moon, there would have to be something to sort of offset that, right?
Well, hold on. Now, what she's talking about here, this guy, that the name she gave us, Emerald or whatever his name, Emanuel Swedenborg, he was from it says here he was born in 1688. So it's not like the people of the Earth from that time were able to travel to the moon. They didn't have the technology for it. So presumably what he was suggesting was that those people had been there. Like that the people on the moon, or whoever these cities were for on the moon, aliens or whoever.
No.
No, they're like Earth. Do you know that we have life on Earth? We had life.
Yes, we have life on Earth because we have an atmosphere and water.
This is like a new flat Earth theory, right? So this is pretty much right in line with the crazy level of the flat earthers to believe that there's actually an atmosphere and a whole population of people or something living on the moon.
No.
To disbelieve the claims of anybody has ever been on the moon, any kind of device or person, which of course, multiple people and devices have been on the moon.
There's not even a tree. How could there possibly be life?
Well, because they're fake. The lunar landing was fake.
No. The lunar landing didn't cut trees on the moon. You could see trees from here.
Wait. Prabhupada said that we're not allowed to leave this Earth's atmosphere. We're not allowed to. Our bodies are going to explode when we get to the end of the stratosphere. We are not permitted on the moon. You have to be born into the parent. The founder of, and of course he was an ascended master. The founder of.
Is that how
those the people that? Wait. The ascended masters, are those the people that only breathe and they don't eat any food? The breatharians?
Well, I don't know about those generally, but they mostly come down whether they eat or sleep or whatever. But they're.
But they don't have to eat, right? Like they don't have to do that.
Let's hope they don't need oxygen either if they're on the moon.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is, Sarah, that you believe that the moon does have oxygen, that it does have an atmosphere, that everything that we've ever been told about
Does it have water?
Of course.
So everything we've ever been told about the moon has been a lie, is what you're saying.
You know you can look at this thing, right? Like you can go out with a telescope and you can look at it, right?
Well, the thing is, I'm going to go back and read it.
She'd rather believe what she hears in some old book from the 1600s.
I mean, I've spent evenings with my son looking through his telescope at
you can't
this
see the dark side of the moon now, can you, Mark?
No.
What's on that side of the moon?
Why isn't there a tree on this one?
So you have to be on the satellite. If you go up to the satellite and drink your urine and take rag baths and all that, and you could take pictures of the moon when you're up on the satellite, but you can't not say anything because they'll kill you.
Hold on a second. Hold on. So you're saying if you go up into a satellite, which people don't do because satellites are just basically electronic equipment that transmit things. But if you were to go up into a satellite, that you would then be able to take a picture of the things that are on the moon. So you're not saying that all these plants and people or cities are on the dark side of the moon. You're saying you believe they're on the light side of the moon, or both?
Well, they're just. I think the moon rotates. They're always there.
Does it? I don't know enough about it. Honestly, I'm not. I didn't pay close attention in science class, but I think I know a little bit more than you do. Does the moon actually rotate, or does the dark side stay the dark side?
Well, so the dark side of the moon is the unviewed side, is probably the better way to describe it.
Right, but
so
does it rotate?
It is not dark. Well, the moon does rotate because it goes around the Earth, but it rotates sort of with
but on
the
an
same
axis.
face.
Does it rotate on an axis?
Yes.
But it stays with its same face pointing
towards the Earth. So you can't go across the globe, look at the moon, and see a different side of it. If that makes sense.
Or a month later, it'll still be the same side. It won't be.
The same side always faces.
So the dark side has always been basically invisible.
The unviewed side has always been
Which is why there are theories about the dark side that are crazy, like, yours, Sarah, that suggests that there's something on the dark side of the moon. But you're not even saying that. You're saying that the cities and such are on the side that we can see.
I don't know about what side, but they do have satellite photos of
they don't.
Streets.
No.
Yes, they do, but it's a government
Yes,
secret.
they do have satellite photos of streets, just not on the moon.
Yeah, Sarah, I'm sorry, but you've got to learn to be skeptical when it comes to... You don't believe everything we say, do you, Sarah?
No, they tell you all but to not I can understand why you have so much enemies. Like, you accuse me that I'm faking my mental illness. That's a bunch of nonsense.
I didn't accuse you of that at all.
I'm convinced today.
I didn't say that at all. I said I don't believe that you can't work. You say that you can't work because you have some sort of bipolar or whatever. I say that's BS.
Ian's living proof you could be crazy and work.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, Sarah, you don't believe everything that we say. Why would you believe everything you hear from some crackpot caller to Coast or some old guy who wrote a book in the 1600s? Just apply the same, questioning mentality to those people, too.
I want to thank the person who just sent in $150 via Bitcoin for hope.freetalklive.com.
Wow, awesome.
Thank
We'll see you tomorrow. Free Talk Live.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io. Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, July 4th, 2017. Silver's trading at $16.10 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,225 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,616. Antiwar.com reports Pentagon officials confirmed on Monday that they carried out an airstrike on Sunday morning inside the country of Somalia and that they were trying to target the al-Shabaab insurgency, saying they were after specific militant targets. What they actually hit, however, is not clear at all, with no words yet out of Somalia on the results of the strike, and the Pentagon insisting that they were still assessing the results and holding out the idea they might provide information in the future as appropriate. In practice, however, the Pentagon has recently been very tight-lipped about the results of airstrikes, especially those that did not go according to plan, meaning that al-Shabaab was targeted. It may very well be the last we ever hear about this incident. The Trump administration has given the Pentagon increased autonomy to carry out operations in several places around the world, including Somalia, and this is the second such strike in a little over a month. The previous strike was said to kill 8 militants. As far as this strike, it's anyone's guess. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. UPI reports the Russian government said Monday it is losing patience with U.S. officials over the property confiscated in the closure of Kremlin diplomatic compounds in the last few months. Former President Barack Obama imposed sanctions against Russian diplomats in December as punishment for Moscow's reputed interference in the presidential election. As a result, Russian officials were not allowed access to their property. On Monday, a representative of President Vladimir Putin said the Kremlin is running out of patience. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov said, "As a rule, we have spoken about the principle of reciprocity. As for Russia's patience on this matter, it is running out. That has also been mentioned at various levels." Russian officials were refused access to their building starting December 30th. The U.S. sanctions affected the Russian embassies in Washington, D.C., the Consulate General in San Francisco, and compounds in New York and Maryland. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports Maryland, Delaware, and Louisiana on Monday joined a growing number of U.S. states that have refused to hand over voter data to a commission established by President Donald Trump to investigate possible voter fraud. More than 20 states, including Virginia, Kentucky, California, New York, and Massachusetts, have declined to provide some or all of the information on the panel requested, saying it was unnecessary and violated privacy. Trump created the Presidential Advisory Commission on Election Integrity in May after making unsubstantiated claims that millions of people voted illegally for his main rival, Hillary Clinton, in last November's election. Calling the request repugnant, Maryland Attorney General Brian Frosh said in a statement that his office had advised the State Board of Elections that the commission's request was illegal. Frosh said the request appears designed only to intimidate voters and to indulge President Trump's fantasy that he won the popular vote. The commission sent a letter to the 50 states asking them to turn over voter information, including names, the last 4 digits of Social Security numbers, addresses, birth dates, political affiliations, felony convictions, and voting history. Louisiana Secretary of State Tom Shedler said the Presidential Commission could purchase the limited information legally available to candidates running for office. He said in a statement, "You're not going to play politics with Louisiana's voter data." Delaware Election Commissioner Elaine Manlove said in an interview that her office would not comply since the information was confidential. Manlove said she was working with the Attorney General's office to see if the request could be denied completely. Trump has blasted the states who have refused to turn over the data and posted a tweet on Saturday asking, "What are they trying to hide?" Civil rights activists said the commission will encourage voter suppression by justifying new barriers to voting, such as requiring identity cards to vote. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Today's fitness trackers can tell how far you're running, but tomorrow's can tell you why you're running. The new Nike Run Logic Plus pinpoints the desperate psychological demons at the root of your exercise routine. Tech Trends reporter Aaron Vaughn has more.
It's a problem all runners face. You run and you run and you run, but it's never enough. No matter how many miles you put in, that gnawing ache at your soul never goes away. Now Nike's engineers have found a way for runners to use that existential pain to push themselves even farther. Users keep the device on their wrist at all times. It not only records running times and distances, it also analyzes all of the user's social interactions and emotional patterns. It then creates a unique, detailed profile that dredges the inspiring well of inner turmoil inside every runner. Early users say they notice a big impact on their workout.
I started marathoning when I was 28. I thought it was time to get in shape, but then once I realized I was actually running from my meaningless job in ad sales, I started running a lot more, like all the time.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here!
hear and declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEAUT full studios of Freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. And as always, for this week and next week, Mr. Dobby Barker, say hello.
Good morning.
We're working on finishing up some graphics. We got to get a bunch of banners done, going Park Fest, Somalia Fest, and artwork. And it's the deadlines, man. Boom, 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 boom. So what are you working on, Dobby?
I'm working on a banner of the Pirate Code.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Remember that old thing?
That old thing. The Pirate Code is probably the first thing that we started working on, and spent a lot of time on that. Then we had the first letter of mark and the parlance and all this other. So we got banners, something to put on the dome, the big giant dome. That was one thing. We went to UPS yesterday, and we're going, all right.
How many millions of dollars is this going to take to ship?
I don't want to pay a lot for this.
And he
muffler.
said, it'd probably be less if you disassembled it.
That would be better. So we disassembled it, which was, and it went pretty fast. Putting it up takes hours, but to take it down took what?
Gravity is on your side, so it takes about 5 minutes.
I know. It was like this big giant dome and just pull the pins and boom, 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 boom. It was like, run away. But it came apart in 10, 15 minutes, man. And that was amazing, But we've had that experience before. The thing is it's a 3-phase. It's the same number of pieces, just longer ones, as the 16-foot. They're just bigger, But, man, is this thing bigger. So we're getting it all ready to ship today, And today's what? Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So they say it's going to be there next Thursday. So we're like, and it's only $240, $50 around there. I was thinking it was going to be a lot more. But so we're working that out. Donna's gone right now. She went to get some shipping tubes. These tubes, we were at the fabric store yesterday looking for some stuff. We found, I think, what we need. We're covering it with. But we went, and all of a sudden I saw the perfect shipping tubes, these big tubes that are thick-walled cardboard-like stuff that you can put the stuff in and pack and seal, whatever. Where you get those? How do I get them? I want to buy. Well, we buy them. Yeah, that's very interesting. Where do you buy those from? So we're looking around shipping. But what I'm using now, for this time to get to Derek is 16-inch concrete form tubes that come in 12-foot lengths, and then we're going to cut it down to the size that we need, and then we'll put some wheels on the back and reinforce it with a 2x4 or 2 or 2x3s. We're kind of looking on that and screwing things in and put wheels on it and a handle and everything, because this thing's heavy, but be able to, drag it around because I'm a nice guy. But, we got to get the shipping down because I got a bunch of other domes in there ready to start ship. When am I going to be able to have time to do this? But they go pretty fast. Avi and I did this big 23.3-foot dome, because the math worked out, that's the most efficient for the size that we were doing. And half-inch conduit, and it took us, actually chunking it out, cutting it, doing it labor to less than 3 hours, and that was our first time working together on that. So I can see how Adam gets out there, man, he chunks out some domes. So it's working as well as I had hoped. I had this plan for years, and finally got last summer the thing all set up, and we've been using it steady and just building up inventory so that when we launch, doing the dome thing, that I got stuff to sell, because it said I just know it's going to happen. It's going to go, and so we're getting it all ready, put it in with the shop at the pirateswithoutborders.com. Some of the artwork is just freaking cool. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. And going to New Hampshire, I just lost a week. I don't know. Wasn't it usually later in June?
Yeah, but Somali Fest is before New Hampshire.
Yeah, but it's still that weekend. I was always planning on flying that weekend. It goes from what date to what date? Do you remember?
The 20th to the 26th.
Yeah, see, I thought it went into, July, because I always remember it was 4th of July right after. Well, I guess it is. But anyway, so we're going. It's going to be a logistical thing, There'll be a thing. You think? I'm not getting the impression that PorcFest is like going to be busting at the seams this year.
No, I mean they're changing their whole business model essentially.
Well, what's their plan?
They're trying to appeal to families now. They're trying to do much more of the homeschooling and nonviolent parenting thing, and much less of the degenerate eat the whole brownie thing.
Dude, there's this place that, you can be all duded up all the time, dude. Then you go, hey man, not around my 3-year-old kid, okay?
Yeah.
Seriously, put on your clothes. But it was never that bad. But I mean, from a family's perspective, they're like, hey man,
Yeah.
But humans versus zombies, don't use real guns this time.
The Free State Project fulfilled its mission. It got its 20,000 signatures, and now people are starting to move there, and they don't really... The event is, it's like, why would you throw away a cash cow just because you were done with your mission? So now it's going to be about marketing to people with families as opposed to people young and reckless enough to move.
Yeah, right. That's one thing that I noticed early on when this first happened, because when the Free State Project was selected New Hampshire, because it was, where are they going to go? When they did that, the morning after the selection, we had Amanda Phillips on, which was one of the, head people guiding through this. And she was on my radio show, in a morning show that we had at Scottsdale. And that next morning, came on, announced it, boom, here we go. So we did a Freedom Summit in Manchester. That was the only time we ever did a Freedom Summit outside of Arizona. And we go, all right, we'll do this. We'll go to Manchester and we'll put on the dog. So we had a lot of, Nathaniel Brandon came, George Smith, Ron Paul, I think James Bovard, Ben Sopranowitz, Peter Schiff was that year.
Cool.
We had, a lot of great speakers, and, and of course, Mark Victor and I. And the only person that didn't show, it's the only time we ever had a no-show, is Michael Scherer, the CIA guy, was scheduled to speak, and maybe not. Because there was a controversy at the time. Manchester did not want Vince Sopranowitz there. They wanted to explain it to him. He wasn't allowed to come, and we came anyway. And then they tried to make it to where we couldn't bring firearms, because and all our contracts, that's the only reason we went outside of Arizona, is because New Hampshire is the only place where the law was such that you could carry your firearm. And that was in our contract, with the hotel. Look, hey, not that everybody, carries, but, they should be able to, So the Manchester police tried to get them to cancel the event. And they're like, hey, contract. Yeah, but we're the police. Hey, contract,
Right, and your job is to enforce contracts.
Right, so it was because of Ben Sopranowitz's book, The Ballad of Carl Draga. Carl Draga was a New Hampshire guy that just screaming for help. The government was, because he had waterfront property and the EP. I mean, it was just a thing. And finally, he just went on a rampage. He just messed with him one too many times, and he started taking out cops and city council and all this stuff. And of the 700-page book, he was like 16 pages, and they wanted to ban.
When it comes to investing in precious metals, you need a source you can trust who offers you choices and empowers you to maximize your wealth. That's where Roberts & Roberts Brokerage can help. Roberts & Roberts is a trusted name in precious metals. Since 1977, Roberts & Roberts has been providing you with the finest gold and silver bullion, coins, rounds, and bars at genuine and honest prices. They make it easy to invest in precious metals and work with you to suit your investment needs. In addition to offering gold and silver for sale for U.S. dollars, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage is now accepting Bitcoin in exchange for their quality precious metals products. To speak with a professional from Roberts & Roberts about investing in precious metals, call toll-free 800-874-9760. Write this number down, 800-874-9760. Visit Roberts & Roberts online at rrbi.co. That's rrbi.co. On behalf of Roberts & Roberts, here's hoping your day is as good as gold.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
If you're looking for work, you know what I mean by elevator speech. It's the short version, saying just enough to make the listener want to listen more. Even if you're not a job seeker, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. So to cut through the clutter, choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Instead of saying, due to the fact that, say, because. And avoid mispronunciations. Say jewelry, not jewelry, which could offend. Undoubtedly, you don't want to say undoubtedly. And whatever you do, never use a preposition to end a sentence with. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Hey, Davi, I just sent you an email, the 2 emails for the guys and the instructions whether they do a retransfer file or, if they got an FTP or something like that. We'll deal with that. And then I wanted to finish the story on Vince Prenowitz and, God, what was that? What year was that? It was 4 or 5 when the Free State Project was done. And Manchester Police, he wrote a book called The Ballad of Carl Draga. And it was what Vince Prenowitz had done is he was a Las Vegas Review Journal assistant editor, and we've known him since he was used to West Valley View was a newspaper here in the Valley. And he, in the late 80s, he had come across, Rick Tompkins, they, like any libertarian, a new libertarian, you show up and all of a sudden you get drafted to run for something. And he ran for U.S. Senate, and he went around talking. And at the editorial board of this newspaper, Vin was there, and he's like, oh, my God. He makes so much. They endorsed him, running against, I don't know, DeContini or whoever it was. And they endorsed him, and he became libertarian. He's like, man, this is it, And so we became friends over the years, and he went to Las Vegas and working there, and they had, same kind of problems and so on, and we kind of sistered up a lot of times, Arizona and Nevada, on this because of these contacts. And he wrote his first book, Send in the Waco Killers. And it was about all these stories, because he's a newspaper editor, and he would get all these letters to the editor or these news feeds, and on the wire services you write a column, and he was the one that always said, wait 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, in the first 24, 48, 72 hour news cycle is done, and all the BS and what they the impact, they want you to think this about that, and you get the real story. And he goes, he'd do a column like a few weeks after whatever would happen and tell you what really happened. He was the first one that I remember, that opined that the Columbine shootings, when he started looking at, Virginia Tech and Columbine and all this kind of stuff, these rashes of shootings, the only thing that they had in common was that the kids were on these psychotropic drugs. It was Ritalin and all this other stuff. And when they come down, there's a suicide watch for like 3 days after you come off of this stuff.
Oh, but that's the correlation we're all supposed to ignore.
Yeah, they don't want to mention it. It's definitely not. Well, he was going, no, there's a common thread here. It's these pharmaceuticals they're putting everybody on. Well, keep in mind, when was this going on? It was right after they, within a decade and a half, these kids start to be in high school and everything, that they've been vaccinated, they've been chemicalized, they've been pumped full of all this kind of crap that started in like the late 80s, or early 90s. And that all of a sudden we're starting to have the ramifications of that. You got the ADHD, you got some other kind of emotional problem, or you got some learning disability, or there's always varying degrees of big pharma is making a bunch more money on another drug that then they go crazy and start shooting up people. So they go, ooh, we could weaponize that, So he was writing about this kind of stuff. Well, there was a gentleman that had a hog farm back, I don't say Carolinas or something, and he had a hog farm, and one agency was saying he had to drain his land a certain way. Another one says that he couldn't because it was a wetland thing. Another one was saying that. I mean, it got to the point that it just ran him out of business. And they were coming to seize or auction off or whatever, and he's standing on his front porch, and the cameras are there or whatever, reporters, and he racked his 12 gauge, and he goes, "You tell that Reno bitch to send in her Waco killers." That's where that came from, and it was after, of course, after Waco, and he's like, "Look, you tell her, bring it on." So that was the title of the book. But it wasn't just about that one story. That was just one of the many stories of how the government had just pushed people to the edge, just being stupid. Well, then he noticed after Waco and all this, militia thing and stuff going up, he noticed one thing. They didn't have any more Wacos. They were like, this big, we're big stomp, come in, tank and helicopter crap. They just kind of so they went after individuals. So then it was the Ballad of Carl Draga, which was about people fighting back. It wasn't all these victims, all like the book Lost Rights by James Bovard. I remember that back in '94. Lost Rights was all these little stories. Tarzan happening. So then this book, the Ballad of Carl Draga, was all these stories about people resisting. Well, one good example of it was a guy from New Hampshire. Carl Draga had a home that was on a river, and a flood had washed out something. Anyway, he's doing something with his little coast there on his property he's had since, forever. And older guy, and some, government bureaucrat in a canoe. Aha! You're like messing with on the shore. You're not allowed. You get a permit. And he's like, what? I don't need no stinky permit. Live free or die state of New Hampshire, right? So it was just another bureaucratic, because we don't like you, and we're government agents kind of thing. And he was writing to the Boston Globe and Herald, I think, whatever it was. He was writing to a lot of the local newspapers, help me. These people are being abused. They're doing this or doing that. And he's just detailing all the things that they were doing. And finally, they pull him over, and they were giving him a ticket. On his pickup, it had rust through on the truck bed. Assuming this is illegal, okay? So a ticket for his truck bed rusting through. That's a thing. So he just, I'm done. Because he knew it's just more paperwork, more government, more court, more money, more. So he said, nope, that's it. and he had a gun rack. And he takes his gun off his gun rack, and he shoots both deputies, okay, or policemen, or whatever they were. He gets in their patrol car. He goes to the city council. He's looking for, everybody's been doing him wrong. Today's the day, okay? So he, boom, boom, he shot at least one councilman, I think. And then there was another guy that was the publisher of the newspaper that was publishing everything. He goes, Carl, I can't let you go. Boom. Done there. Goes out in the wood, waits for the state police to come. He started going out with him. Eventually, he's killed, okay? Another thing like that happened in Missouri. Greg Kidman, that was here. He moves there, and we thought it was him. And we're going, I don't know, this sounds like Greg. It's sitting near where he's living. It was a guy, it was eminent domain. They were wanting to, spray his land and defoliage and then dig and put some kind of pipeline. It was eminent domain of this much of your farm belongs to us now. And he's like, no, hell no. They kept coming, no. The deputy runs off, ooh, I'm getting out of here. And he killed the forklift guy or something and he kind of went out and shot himself. It's just, this kind of, just, they say no, and they're like, nope, we're from the government. We're not here to protect your rights. We're here to take them. Well, the book, The Ballad of Carl Draga, was 700-something pages, and only 16 pages described the Carl Draga thing. But the governor of New Hampshire freaked, and they banned the book. Well, you can't have that book here in this state. You banned it. And then we had Vincent Frederick come speak at our Freedom Summit, where the Free State Project had just started, and we're just kind of helping them launch. And the police wanted to explain it to us. And we just we're on guard. That's how we know Gar Goldsmith. And we were on the radio at the same time. He had a radio show then, and we were talking all about this. And we had the summit anyway, So we've been following the Free State Project from the beginning.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's